often overlooked, but never forgotten. This is Bionicle Heroes DS.
What does DS stand for?
Full screen.
Also, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So
Why does Holly look buff?
Okay, so here we got the Paraka, of course.
Ripping heads off.
Yeah, terrorizing the Unica. Essentially, the thing about this game is that it's quite a lot different from the console version. So, in this game, the Paraka have actually captured the Toa Unica, and you play as this nondescript guy over here.
that's
Totally not
just
Jala.
No, it's a totally different. Okay,
It's the cunt ghost.
and he becomes this kind of silver Toa. And I actually do know who that Toa is. It's Chris Daughtry. Chris Daughtry.
And then I crashed into you.
Of course, how could we have
Yeah.
forgotten the iconic Matoran from Motunui?
Okay, so essentially, with this game, somebody has actually made a kind of script for this emulator that allows me to play with a, like, Xbox 360 controller. Because the actual DS controls are kind of terrible. Like, they're not totally awful, but essentially, there's essentially two kinds of input methods that they had. There's using the DS stylus to, like, control the reticle, and then using the kind of the face buttons, the D-pad, and the ABXY to kind of look around with the camera. So, it wasn't really that great, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it is an actual first-person shooter, which is what was originally the plan for Bionicle Heroes. So I'm presuming that essentially nobody has actually played this version of the game, because it's kind of overlooked, to be honest, like in the cavalcade of Bionicle games. But I would say it's actually pretty good. Like,
I'm just trying to make up a lore reason in my head why there's Borok and Nui Rama here. I mean, I know that the Bionicle Heroes games are violently not in canon, but I just like to do that.
yeah.
It is funny too that, like, the modeling on these enemies, very conveniently, as there's no enemies on screen at the moment.
Yeah.
This boat, like the boat rock and like the Nui Rama and like all that, like they're actually, for the DS at least, modeled pretty decently, I'd say.
Mhm.
Well, you consider this is the same system that ran the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, which even at the time I thought had bad character models.
Yeah, no, the Lego games on DS were not great visually.
Yeah. So essentially, the reason why the models actually look pretty good here is actually because the emulator, like, I've kind of up-res things so that it's at a higher graphical fidelity. And so I wanted to thank actually one person called Tom Rule, who actually made a tutorial on how to kind of set the high graphic settings, and also is the person that wrote the Lua script for this, so that you can play with an actual controller. So yeah, thanks to Tom Rule for this.
Very useful.
Yeah. So right now, like, I'm playing this nondescript Toa, and you know, they're using the Zamosphere launcher. Essentially, the way that this differs from the console game is that, you know, in the console game, Hyuki was the only one that could construct, but now that's, like, the domain of this new Toa, essentially, that you're controlling. So, like, it kind of streamlines that process, and that you can also kind of, like, when we acquire the other Toa masks, they're actually permanent upgrades, like right here. And they're off the different years as well, so it's not going to be actually like Joller's mask. It's the How.
Now you sort of just glanced over it, but you did, in fact, by putting on that mask, you just became Joller from 2006.
That's right.
And his iconic
Kanohi How.
Yeah.
Kanohi How and his I don't know, what would you classify this gun as?
It is a submachine gun, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's very canonical, and essentially it is kind of the best weapon in the game. So like, the way that
That's why no one gets past the captain of the guard unless he wishes it.
That's right, that's right.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, so like the kind of balancing in this game with the weapons is sort of off. So like, the actual optimal way to play this is to use Jawler if you want to get through this really fast. Like, somebody actually did a speed run of this game. Somebody called Laginalite, I think. And they pretty much exclusively use Jawler throughout the game. Because, you know, he can mow down enemies incredibly fast. Yeah, so there's a couple things about this. Like, you get a ranking, and there's also like a number of secrets in each level.
Like a Doom end screen.
Essentially, yeah. So it does kind of like, it is kind of Bionicle Doom in a way, and there's actually a kind of mod for Doom that essentially uses the same assets as this game. So, like, you can play Doom Bionicle as well. But yeah.
I wonder if GC Doom has a decent Bionicle mod. Because GC Doom is a pretty solid engine that even runs some modern games for some reason. Retro-y modern games, but still. It's descended from the original Doom engine.
Actually, I don't know why I was using the other Toa. I should just use Jawler all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we just talked about how
I don't know.
Jawler's submachine gun
I think
is
it
the
like
most
I think it starts you off as the nondescript Toa, and like, yeah, he doesn't have a name as far as I know. Like, so essentially, as you can see, like in the console game, the Rakshi were kind of the bosses of the first level, but they've been downgraded to just regular enemies.
They're just mooks now.
Basically. And actually, weirdly, there's like more standard enemies than there are in the console version in this game. So like there are the Rakshi, the Vaki, the Visorak, and the Borak that are like the main enemies. But then you can also find like the Nui Rama, the Nui Jaga, like basically the Rahi from 2001. And actually, when I was looking into kind of the development of Bionicle Heroes, and like with the console version, you know, the way that it was structured is that you had to like hero mode was kind of the kind of main like driving force of the game. So like you would need to get hero mode to, like, you know, move some obstacles, move some golden constructions out of the way. But that's not the case here. Hero mode is totally optional. Like, you basically never need to use it.
Can I quickly just insert something?
Oh yeah.
Here, which is just everyone in your head right now. I know you know it because I know it. The theme. The hero
mode theme, yeah.
You know that I'm not telling the truth.
No, Joggin, that's something
I'm very glad that theme. It's a great song is the thing. It's just not great when it's the only music you ever hear in a video game.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's not included here.
So the only constructions that there are like these statues, and then there's like a couple like little kind of gearboxes and like making a staircase or ladder, I think. Well, not ladder, a bridge. But yeah, like, what I found out about the golden constructions, because we were kind of wondering what those were. So, like, the development team actually used the Rahi Beast book as reference for the golden constructions. So, like, the things that kind of looked vaguely Makuta-ish, that was apparently one of the Rahi Beasts.
Interesting.
And actually, yeah, one of the enemies in this game is actually a Rahi Beast. Like, it's basically the only kind of fan model that is in an official Bionicle game. But I'll mention it when we actually encounter it. So, yeah, that'll be probably a bit later.
I do like how the nondescript Toa has just like skeletal arms and just like is like a very bare bones sort of thing.
Yeah, you can actually see like in the DS on the DS screen, he's kind of like this shadowy figure. Like there's Kongu and Jala there to represent him. It's like, yeah, he's kind of an ominous figure. But yeah,
It's a weird choice.
It is. The thing is, like, so I did actually get around to playing the GBA version, which also utilizes the same sort of premise, where you have like this silver Toa. It's weirdly absent in the console version. Like I don't know what they were thinking, especially with this.
I just find it interesting how developers at the time just found it normal to make so many, essentially brand new games. I mean, I guess there probably was some asset reuse, but...
This is like a completely different game than the console version of Bionicle Heroes. Like, what assets are carrying over here? Like, I can't imagine any.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the models probably like the similar enemies, maybe.
Maybe like the widget. Maybe the widget just got downscaled or something, I don't know.
Was this version made by the same people as the console version?
I think it was made by a separate team. I think there was a team called Amaze Entertainment. Or there was a company.
So what in the like mid 2000s, what would happen a lot is that a licensor would license out their property to a bunch of different game studios to make it for a bunch of different game consoles. It's why there's like 7 different Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone games across different things.
Which why everyone specifies the platform when they mention it.
So one of the things you notice when you look at all of those individual like versions of a particular game that are made by always completely different people is that there are certain things that are absolutely in every single version, which usually means that they were handed down from the IP holder as things that they absolutely wanted to be in the game. So like, for example, the enemies here are the same general types of enemies that are in the console game. You've got the Rock Sheep, Bo-Rock. So that's clearly something that LEGO wanted to be in the Bionicle Heroes games.
Well, yeah.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, like, if you're thinking about this, any sort of game like this, right, you need a generic enemy to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
You only have so many options when it comes to Bionicle.
Right.
Because you've got, at this point, this game being developed in, I presume, 2005, right?
Well, yeah, so...
The game also is being sold for the purpose of advertising the sets. So
yes.
What better than the sets? Even if some of them aren't quite on the market anymore.
Was the Game Boy game also by Amaze Entertainment?
I don't remember exactly who made the GBA version, but the thing about it is that there was actually another version entirely, which was on mobile phones, like before the touchscreen.
Oh yeah, mobile
actually,
phone games were a thing.
There was actually Bionicle Heroes was on mobile phones. I haven't gotten a chance to play that game, or that version, but I really do want to. Just to see, like, how did they translate this game into so many different, like, versions?
The tricky thing with mobile phone games is that for them to be archivable, a phone needs to exist with them downloaded.
That too.
Well, yeah.
Which is part of why Shadowkey and Dawnstar took till basically the current year to finally be archived in full.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know Bionicle Heroes was competing with Oblivion Mobile.
So essentially, like, you see, I'd gotten a bunch of gears, and essentially, like, you can use, when you get 2,500 of them, then you can just activate hero mode whenever you want, you know? And it basically acts as, like, and it has different music, too. And it allows you to just mow down enemies.
just going ham.
Yeah.
The inclusion of hero mode in all of them, though, doesn't sound like something that was handed down by LEGO. It just sounds like something that they were probably talking to each other, and I guess decided they all liked that idea.
I think it's probably derived from like the True Jedi thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Because
Just
PT is
amped
the
up a little bit.
Sure, I guess.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was probably something like that, because, like,
it's
yeah.
almost certainly from Lego in some respect if it's in more than one version.
Yeah.
Because I doubt that the game studios were talking to each other expressly.
Yeah, so essentially, like, I had picked up the Huna, I guess, or is it the, it was, Vakama's mask.
That's the Huna.
Yeah. Tometru. Basically, each of them denote, like, the different kind of levels, so, like, I've gotten a bit more powerful. Also, I will say, like, death isn't much of a matter of consequence, really, in this game, so, like, essentially, like, there is slightly more strategy, though, because you see the yellow bar, like, it does, like, you do have an ammo count that does deplete pretty fast, or relatively fast, so, yeah, it does have a bit more strategy than the console game.
I just think about, like, the impact that this game, like, this is still when Bionicle was, relatively speaking, not at its peak, but, like,
Yeah.
it was still pretty popular, 2006. And, I mean, I feel like, Bionicle the game was a very well advertised game, but I almost feel like Bionicle Heroes was even more so to a certain extent.
Bionicle Heroes was everywhere.
It was, yeah.
It was.
Was it?
Like, I didn't know a kid who didn't know about it, but I also didn't, well, I didn't know many kids that liked it, but I didn't know anyone that didn't know about it, as far as people who actually played games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it had ads in like Nintendo Power. It had commercials. It was on the back of comic books. It got a big marketing push.
Yeah.
This may just be me being a weirdo
I think this
outsider
is you
person.
being old.
Well, no, like, I've never, so, like, I never saw any, like, Bionicle TV commercials until I was an adult, because I've never had cable. Well, that's not true. I like, occasionally I'd see clips online back in the day, but, like, I had to search them out. I didn't encounter them passively.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that I really like the theming in each of the levels, or each of the areas of each level. So this is called the cooling vats, because I guess this is like, it's kind of cooling something in this hot area. And actually, so, like, there are a bunch of secrets that are hidden around. And you get kind of, like, secret abilities, or, like, or you get upgraded, basically, for various characters, and they have abilities. Like, Holly can actually go underwater. So, like, it kind of incentivizes backtracking to other levels to get the secrets. which is there in the console game, but I feel like it's much more obvious. Like, there's usually some sort of icon that indicates where you can access a secret and what TOA you need to use. But in this game, you actually have to, like, keep your eyes open and look out for that sort of stuff. So I do like it in that regard. And the secrets basically allow you to access cheat codes, which I don't think is present in the console version either. So
Yeah, no, honestly, just from a game design standpoint, what I've seen and what you've said, this just seems like a better game than the console version.
yeah.
Like, in many aspects. Like, this does kind of feel, in a way, like the definitive version of the game.
I kind of find myself wondering if this design direction had gotten into console budget, what would we have?
Yeah, like, I'm super curious, like, if anyone out there, like, would want to kind of remake this game, but, like, for, like, with console graphics, you know, like or on a console, right? On PC. I'd love to see it, you know? Like it'll be really interesting to see how things would translate, because actually like with the prototype, as I mentioned in the other Let's Play we did of the console game, this was kind of the direction they were headed in, like with a first-person shooter, but they were gonna get the M for mature rating if they did that for the console game. And this actually did get the teen rating, which I think is the only Lego game that got the teen rating in America, at least. In other regions, like I think it was 7+ in the UK, like the PEGI rating system. But yeah, this is rated T for teen because it's an FPS.
Because it's extreme.
Yeah.
Which it's just so wild to me now, because like you think about the environment, right? It's all about environment. You think about now, what's the most popular kids game out there that children play other than Roblox and Minecraft? It's Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
You know, say what you will about kids shooting violent games. Personally, I don't know that like I would necessarily want, you know, a third grader to be playing Doom 2016. But you know, like there's nothing inherently like gory about this game. It's just use a gun, you shoot, and
Slime,
you blow.
all those gears and plus rods everywhere. This is like so gory.
Yeah.
How can you've been desensitized?
You gotta beat Hakan. So like even the scenarios are kind of more interesting in this. So like you saw like, you know, with Bionicle Heroes on PC, I guess I'll just call it the PC game.
Why is he so big?
He's basically flooding the entire arena with lava. So like I gotta get out of dodge. It's got some interesting concepts with its boss battles, and some of them actually like weirdly follow canon a bit.
Well, you gotta go. You're gonna get in the lot. Oh.
No, so I'll mention it when we get to it. But like, yeah, some of the, it seems like the developers did some amount of research into the books actually. Not a ton. Like it's not uniformly present in the entire game, obviously, but there was some effort actually put in specifically this game, not in the PC game, in the PC version. So. Yeah, I just find that really interesting.
Yeah, the console one's like, what if Rudaka was there? Is Rudaka in this one?
No, unfortunately. So.
And a million thirsty fanboys cried out.
We don't have any like mini bosses in this version. It's only the Paraka. But there are more enemies anyway, so. You know, you win some, you lose some.
I also gotta say, the music.
Yeah, the music.
Bopping. I like the music.
I think, yeah, there's Ian's...
Wait, are you supposed to be able to hear this?
Can you hear the music?
No, I can't hear anything from the game.
Oh. Well, rip John.
Well, just imagine some really cool music.
It's some cool music.
It sounds pretty good, Judd. It sounds pretty good.
I'll take your word for it, I guess.
Yeah.
It is neat.
I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of, but it's maybe it's just reminiscent of those early Lego like Flash games to a certain extent.
Oh, I gotta get. Oh no, what? Okay, this is actually.
Oh, no.
You kind of jumped into the
die.
lava.
You're gonna die.
That's actually never happened before. I've never actually done that. So.
It helps if you don't do that.
I gotta go.
Fast.
I really like the structure of this level, actually. Like, this whole boss battle, like, you're ascending to the top, and then it basically ends on this, like, small platform.
You died again.
I know. Again, though, like, dying...
I was just making sure you were aware.
Yes, thank you. The thing is, dying doesn't have much consequence. You know, like, if it did, I think that with the strategy in this game, if you dodging and weaving, trying to get out of the way of the bullets. Like I do think, and I mean I'm not very good at that, but
This platform puts Iron King to shame.
You died a couple of times in there.
I know. It's so close quarters though. Like I don't know how you can avoid it, to be honest.
Being good at video games.
He's going up.
Oh, and Hakan has died.
Much like he did in the books.
F's in the chat for Hakan.
Hakan, more like Hakath.
More like Hagon.
Yeah, so now we got Joller's mask. So
Oh right, because you had Tahu's mask before.
yeah.
No, Tahu's mask and then
Vakama's
Vakama's
mask
mask,
as well.
and
But
now.
so now somehow with Joller I can now
Hortica Erasure. This is Hortica Erasure.
Yeah, I can now actually go into lava. So whenever there's lava in a level, like I can actually go into it. In the console game, like you can like walk on lava as Jowler, but the thing is there's this kind of indicator there. So like you know that you can do that with Jowler. But here you really do have to like look out for it. So they really hide certain secrets pretty well, I'd say. And okay, like I totally love the Zactans though. Like in the console game it's like a jungle, I think. But here it's like a sky temple, like a sky fortress. Yeah, so I just really like the various regions, the kind of locales of this game. And I'd love to see it in like higher definition too.
And considering the lack of like the amount of processing power that the Nintendo DS had, like these are not only I feel at least not only distinct areas. This is clearly the Kongu levels I should say, but like also they look, each of the levels I feel has a distinct look to it, which is really cool to see in because there are games that are released now that follow a certain sort of structure that each level kind of looks exactly like the last level that you were just in.
Right.
A game I have never talked about extensively.
Oh boy.
Never.
And never play.
Breath of the Wild.
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god, I'm shocked. I'm startled.
I love it dearly, but I've probably mentioned it.
Wait,
played
so you
Breath of
like
the
The
Wild?
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild?
What a shock.
I know. I don't remember what actually is in the Breath of the Wild episode at this point. I know we talked for like 2-3 hours and somehow Waj managed to edit it down to like what?
Yeah, we did talk
20
about
minutes?
the shrines, right? I imagine that's what you're gonna get to.
Yeah, no, I was regardless, I was just gonna say how like in the shrines of Breath of the Wild they all kind of have the same sort of look to them, which is a bit problematic. At times when you're thinking about like creating like distinct areas and regions, and this feels very distinct. Oh, look at the Borok coming out of the little holes!
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. They're coming out of little hexagon tubes.
Yeah.
And that almost could maybe be canon. Almost.
I don't see any reason for it not to be. I don't know, I'm one of those weirdos that whenever there's like a non-canon side game for something, or side thing, I always assume any like plot detail, fine, that's not canon. But little things like, oh, there's tubes for Baroks to travel through, or something, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Where is that Borok? Orochi, actually.
Back on like the levels looking different. Like it's a problem that a lot of modern games fall into. I've been playing through The Last of Us the last couple days on PS5, and like as good as that game is, which is a shock to no one because it's been praised for 10 years now, but like,
And it won't stop getting remade.
a lot of the environments feel, especially like in city environments, feel extremely similar, with a lot of reused assets and things like that. And that's not like a real criticism of it. It makes sense, but it is it does feel very samey.
Yeah, with these kind of things, my question is often who built it the first time?
Oh,
Miru.
it's the Mask of Lua.
Yeah. Let's go, Kongu.
Or, sorry, not who built it the first time, but just who built it. And it's... Sometimes who built it is a excuse to have it all look the same, but other times it's a cop-out. Oh, it all had the same builder. Well, sometimes that's helpful for it to be the same-ish, but not always.
This is a cool weapon on Kong.
Yeah, Kongu does have a really cool, like, electro gun.
He's got the Quake Thunderbolt.
Also, they really leaned into the organic part of his mask and that art,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No, it like, there's so many nice details in this. Also, I just want to mention, there's like these kind of canisters, trash cans, I don't know what they are. And what you can do actually is a little detail. You can actually jump, and it'll burst. I just really like that.
The Baraka encourage recycling.
Do you think that the idea for Karzani's mask being this patchwork thing came before they developed Kongu's mask, or after they developed Kongu's mask? Because in my mind, the two ideas must be connected at least somehow. Because they were both 2006 things, and they look very similar to each other.
Well, when does that comic come out? Is that 2006 when that?
I thought it was first revealed in the Atlas.
The Atlas was 2006. Or no, it was first revealed in Bionicle World, which I believe was a 2006 book.
Okay, I think I might have World and Atlas mixed up. But the one where he's got that art that everyone shows every time they talk about him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was 2006.
Yep.
I actually have that book somewhere.
To my knowledge, anyway.
I think World was 2006. Wait, no. World was 2007. Dark Hunters was 2006.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Because that was when the contest
But regardless, that art comes from the comics, right? Like that's, I forget who was the comic artist at that particular juncture.
Stuart Sager.
The one that had the very grim dark aesthetic for Bionicle.
Yeah.
Because that particular that particular art of Karzani, isn't that a redraw of
It is a
Hellboy?
redraw of Hellboy, yes.
So I really like a lot of the areas. So this is actually a Coliseum, kind of like I almost wonder if they got this from like Metro Nui, right? Like it really does
Yeah,
seem.
it's got the hexes on the ground.
Yeah, the
and-
hexagon.
Yeah, because they do come out of the ground. Yeah, and the thing is, so with this being a kind of sky temple, like the last area, like you saw we're going upstairs, like all of the levels kind of build up on top of each other. So it just kind of has this through line where you're ascending to the clouds. That's where Zaktan is at the highest point. So yeah, I just really like the theming.
Okay, so Zaktan saw Metronome and he's like, I can do that but cooler.
Basically.
But I also just love how, because you see Zaktan's face and weapons like embedded in like stone form in these.
Hold
Like-
on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I call shenanigans. Clearly, everything on this ground is hexagon shaped, but then when the pillars come up, they're squares.
Yeah.
I feel cheated as a fan of hexagons.
Look at that hex.
This is a betrayal.
Yeah, there's a hexagon. These are letters actually. You see these things up in the distance, and like so with the special abilities, like right there's a point where like these pillars raise up, but then to get that you actually need Kongu's special ability where he can actually levitate in midair for like 4 seconds. So they just thought of some cool stuff for this game, which is not present at all in the console game.
I just love the in-lore, aspect of like, yeah, you see Zaktan's face, you see his blades, like the fact that this man shows up on this island is like, all right, what I'm gonna do? Construct an entire temple dedicated to myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just iconic.
If I recall correctly, that's literally the first thing that Hakan does in the books. He goes like, he finds a Matoran and it's like, hey, we need to construct a temple here. I just killed all these Rahi beasts to make room for it. And the Matoran's like, oh, to the three virtues? And he's like, yes, me, myself, and I.
I do
I remember that.
I should have used hero mode earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not the greatest timing, but, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
There's actually 3 different rankings, and I don't know how you actually get them. So there's Taraga, Toa, and then Matnui. I think I've gotten Matnui like once, but there's no like details on it online. So I'd love to know like if anyone knows how the rankings work. They don't mean anything like to percentage. So
You know, somehow I think that the Great Spirit Matanui would actually be worse at doing these levels.
I mean, have you seen The Legend Reborn?
have.
Because he would simply not fit in the levels.
It's true.
He just
Well, no,
steps,
he'd be
and
great
all
at
of
the
a sudden-
levels because he could just one shot them.
Well, it depends on what you define as success.
I mean, all he needs to do is wake up, and this whole map is dead.
Also, you're getting into Vaki now.
Yeah. So the thing about the various enemies is that like there is actually kind of power scaling in this where like depending on which level you choose, where you can choose any level at the start of this game. In the console version, you have to go through Vizak's level, and then you like slowly unlock the other levels. So in this, you can basically choose anyone, and so initially the Borak and Rakshi, you know, like all the enemies are at a certain kind of level, and denoted by their colors. I don't really know what they, which ones are more powerful, but the colors will change, and they will actually get more powerful as we progress through the game. So kind of like Breath of the Wild, I guess, but it does change depending on the level, like what colors you see of each enemy.
A detail that I appreciate: the different colors of the enemies have the right weapon from that specific set.
Mhm.
Like the blue Rakshi has the Garak or the Gurok.
Yeah.
It has the Gurok staff. It doesn't have like the Volparak staff. It has the Gurok staff.
Yeah, no, like that's what I was saying about the modeling is that like it's not like, oh well, they just made like one Rakshi and recolored it. Like, no, that's Gurok. That's, you know, each one of these looks like the set that they're supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is better than other Bionicle games that exist.
Also, bear in mind they have to store all this.
It's like this is actually a basin, like an ancient, I think, reservoir. And so, like, when you get Holly's, like, upgraded to level 3, you can actually go into it. And I love that it's, like, colored green, like, it's tinted green, so, like, you're not really, like, if you're not paying attention to those small things, then, like, you'll just miss the secrets. Oh, I gotta pay attention to this. Gotta get hero mode and use it well. But yeah. I really like this game. Like, it's probably among my favorites of the Bionicle games. Like, I think it probably, like, you know, there is Monog, and everyone talks about Monog as being, like, I think the best web game. But in terms of, like, the actual kind of console or handheld games, I think this is probably up there as the best.
It definitely looks like a game that I would actually want to play for its own gameplay. Whereas, like Monog,
Ooh.
I mean, you play
Metal.
for the kind of the story and the world building, but not so much the gameplay.
Yeah.
I do like the small little detail that it shows, like, the symbol for the level of, you know, whatever Toa you're at. So, like, that's the Matoran symbol for 2.
Yep.
Like, Joller's at 3.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the nondescript Toa doesn't actually get any levels, but the kind of advantage to it is that it's the Zamor Sphere doesn't take up any energy. So, like, I'm using it, and the yellow meter isn't going down at all. So, like, it still has utility to it, which is nice, but the balance of the weapons is still kind of off. Where Jowler's weapon is the ideal. So I should just use it all the time. But you know, I will show off the other weapons too. Don't worry about it, because I do want to show them off. But Jowler, you know, is the fastest.
That's not the same staff as the previous Rakshi. Natalia, I was just once again noting that it was, yet again, not the same Rakshi staff.
Yeah. There's just a lot to like about this, and you see, like, again, we're kind of ascending, so they really did think about, you know, kind of the overall design of each level. In the console game, some of the places in the console game are really pretty, but I feel like there isn't as cohesive a theme in a lot of the levels. So yeah, and plus, like, with this game, you know, it's kind of, the structure is different. You're not worried about golden contractions. You just have to beat all the enemies, you know, to progress, basically. Like, that's kind of the structure of this game.
It's very Doom.
Yeah. So, you know, you can't miss any enemies, but it does keep you more engaged, I think, with the gameplay. Like, you know, you do have to, like, dodge and weave, and, you know, there's a little bit of strategy. I always keep forgetting to use hero mode at opportune times.
There you go. You got a Tarago rank.
Yeah. The rankings don't affect anything, but yeah, you see, Tower of Ascent. So there are a couple of interesting kind of development details that I was looking into. Essentially, with Bionicle Heroes, there was apparently a competition, like an art competition, where people could essentially, like, they'd have to design a mask. Like, just draw a mask, essentially, and it would be present in Bionicle Heroes. Now, that competition, like, I can't actually access it. Like all the pictures are basically kind of dead, like, on the Wayback Machine. So, I'd be really curious to know, like, if anyone actually does know how that competition went, and if that mask design actually got into one of the versions, because it's really hard to tell as far as, like, you know, what actually, like, what the promotion was for this game, because a lot of stuff is not archived, so a lot of things about, like, the development details do get lost over time. But yeah, they really were kind of flexing as well with some of this. Like, these are, like, large open areas. They're not claustrophobic at all, and they do that quite a few times in this. Like, literally rendering, like, a huge 3D scene on the DS. Yeah.
Right, which is saying something. You know, we're watching you play a very legal copy on,
yeah. Well, I do own the cartridge as well, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, like, just picturing playing this on a DS is, like, that's kind of, you know, astounding.
It really is.
And again, like, yeah, you have up-resed textures here, but still.
Yeah.
I imagine this is what everyone thought it looks like at the time, though.
Probably.
Yeah, especially you're a kid. You know.
I mean, at a smaller scale, though, right? Like you see, the DS screen is not that big, so, you know, it will probably look relatively good on original hardware, probably. but not here. You know, as we blow things up. Well, I mean, it does look good with the texturing, of course, the high res textures. So, like, yeah, there's just a lot of things to love about the structure. Like, there's secrets everywhere. So, like, you can actually use your levitation. I should probably, yeah, you can use your levitation when you're Kongu to get kind of up here, as well as over here. You have to like ascend, like go and like position yourself correctly. So there's kind of like some Metroid elements to it, like some backtracking. And a lot of people did compare this to Metroid Prime Hunters, which is fair. Because literally that came out at around the same time, I think. So, like, I think they probably took inspiration from Metroid Prime Hunters for a lot of this. And this is probably one of my favorite scenes. It's just this elevator ascent that you can see out there.
Oh. Look at that.
Yeah. It's just really
There's
cool.
the sky.
Yeah, it's a skybox.
From an architectural standpoint, I have to wonder how that supports all this weight.
Don't worry about it. Who asked?
We're gonna fight the snake. Zactan.
You have to recover the air mask of Kongu.
That's right.
As we all know, Kongu's infamous air mask.
So this is okay. So here there are these little things here, like these walls where, like, if you get the upgraded Hyuki, then you can actually break them and get some gears so that you can like activate hero mode. So there is some strategy to like playing different levels in like different sequences. But as you saw here, like
So it's like
Zactan,
Mega Man.
Zactan actually like turns into like the components of him, like the prodites, I think, or whatever it is in the lore.
Protodites,
Yeah, protodites. Yeah. So they clearly read through some of the lore. I think this is like one of the only instances of it though, like of this sort of like correspondence with actual lore. But it's really cool that they implemented it in this boss battle.
Does the console version have any reference to the prototypes?
No. Essentially, the console version, I think Zactan is just kind of in a jungle, and he sort of just like has a bunch of traps or whatever that he sets. Something like that, I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I played Zactan's level. But no, this is, I think, the only version that has this. So clearly the team that was working on this did do their research in some capacity at least. And the thing about some of the Paraka at least, they have hit scan weapons, which it means that their blasts are kind of instantaneous. They sort of like are kind of laser beams that, like, the moment they lock onto you, like, there's no travel time at all. They just kind of instantly hit you, which is kind of cheap, to be honest. So, like, there's not a lot of time to dodge, but, you know.
Really cheap in movement-based games like this. Or like, in Halo, I feel like it wouldn't matter too much, and it doesn't. But also in Halo, most of the enemies use projectile weapons anyways. But hit scanners, when making a hit scanner in games, you kind of have to be... There's a certain level of caring you have to make with it.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes to show that the few hit scan enemies in Halo are considered some of the most annoying.
Oh, got Zactan. And he's gonna ascend.
Goodbye.
Yep. I do like these, like, levitation pads, too. Didn't really use them throughout the fight.
It's neat. And now you have the power of levitate.
That's right. When the wearer of the air Toa mask, gotta get that right, uses slow fall, they can get to hard to reach areas. So it's called slow fall. It's anti-gravity ability, so it's not really levitation, I guess, but
Yeah, that's like... That's two different things there.
yeah. Close enough. Okay, so here is probably one of my favorite levels, I think, in this game. This is Avak's castle. His stronghold, I guess, is a huge castle.
Oh, that's cool. I like the drawbridge.
Yeah, yeah.
Closing there.
And there's also secrets here as well, but we don't have Holly to get them. So, yeah. And I won't be doing a 100% playthrough of this. I just want to get through the entire game as hopefully quickly as possible, but it isn't quite a speed run and not that good as Lag in a Light.
No, you're in the running. I'm looking at the clock.
Oh yeah? I don't
Yeah.
have my splits open, so...
Well, there probably isn't a huge group of people to be competing against.
There really isn't. I think it's just like that one guy, to be honest with you.
I mean, second place is still great.
Yeah, let's see. Where are the enemies gone? So yeah, the thing about this level is that, like, you know, you're going through this castle and you can kind of see various areas of it. And this is like one of those like really large levels. Just a lot going on. There's just a lot of interesting themes that, like, to each of the levels that really differ, and they really took a lot of cool, like, creative licenses with, you know, interpreting each of the Baraka's areas. So there's like a spiral kind of, not staircase, but there's like a, you know, spiraling kind of dome.
Well, I mean, you can see the creative license with the very existence of a castle for Avak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty medieval for something in Bionicle.
It weirdly feels right though. Like these banners, I don't know. It's something about it is just like pretty cool.
I totally like it. It's just, I'm saying it's, compared to everything else Bionicle, it's medieval.
Also, there's a purple sky, which I just find is really ominous. And like you can see kind of like you're ascending, but you can also see the areas where you already were. And there's like a, you know, I love the moat too, and the fact that there are secrets in it. So, yeah, I really don't have that many bad things to say about this game. Like, I 100% think this is like one of the best Bionicle games. It is, I suppose, like a bit repetitive with, you know, kind of similar enemies around. I probably used hero mode too quick there, again. But, you know, I still like the fact that you have agency in that. Like, you know, you can use hero mode, and plus, like, you can also keep it going if you collect enough gears. So, like, when you have hero mode, your golden meter will kind of deplete. But if you're collecting gears, like, you can actually keep it going. So there is a bit of, like, you know, trying to keep it going as long as possible. And, like, enemies drop gears, so then, you know, that kind of factors in there. Yeah, they just thought about a lot of interesting stuff for this. And weirdly, there isn't, like, a lot of coverage about this game. Like, the most you'll see is kind of people talking about first-person shooters on the DS in general, of which there weren't many. So this often does show up in lists of, like, the top FPS games on the DS. But, like, there really aren't that many Let's Plays of this. So, what I would like is, like, more people to check this game out. And I'll leave the tutorial to set things up by Tom Rule in the description. Because, literally, like, I just want people to check this game out. I feel like it doesn't get a lot of love. So, yeah. That's really why I wanted to do this. Also, Hyuki's weapon is kind of also pretty slow, but at least you don't have to play Hyuki all the time for constructing. So, you know, there's that.
I mean, if nothing else, it looks cool.
Yeah. But then we always go back to Joller, because He does have the fastest weapon. So like you know, if somebody were able to balance the weapons out, like I would really like to see this sort of Bionicle Heroes sort of some kind of rebuilt version for Bionicle Heroes DS. Maybe you could also incorporate parts of the console game as well, but just like with this kind of control scheme, you know, more to what they were originally intending. Yeah. So again, like, you know, we're getting deeper into the castle.
It is funny though, because like when you think about, your brain probably wouldn't immediately go medieval castle. But, you know, it's not like it's not fitting. And it's also, like, I think it's cool that it's a more unique take on on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are against the castle. It's aggressively unique.
It really is.
I'm against the castle. I hate castles.
Yeah, John famous for hating castles.
Castles are the worst.
with his like huge castle collection.
He does it as a monument to hate.
Yeah, they fuel my hatred.
Oh, right. So I don't know what the purpose of this is. Just like these statues, actually. Like, who thought this would be a good idea? But like, I kind of like it.
Jala is kind of an egomaniac, I guess.
It looks kind of dopey, to be honest. Like, what it's about. I don't know. Maybe that's just how the mask is in general. But like, yeah, I just really like this statue. It's just kind of funny to me. But okay, let's go.
I won't lie, I kind of like the way that Bionicle masks tend to have these gaping mouths. It kind of is like the last remnant of the Maori influence sticking around on the mask as the years go on.
Oh, actually, one thing about that previous room is there's a point where I can actually levitate over here. So I now have Kongu, so I can activate his, or anti-gravity, sorry. And I can get this letter. So basically, like, the enemies do drop letters, or common letters, that are kind of allow you to access the cheat codes. But then to actually access all of them, you do need to backtrack through levels to get these special ones that don't get dropped. And actually, oh, is this a glitch? Hold up, what is this? A Borak is stuck in a trash can.
Build the rescue helicopter.
Gotta rescue. No. Rip. Never.
Has
Oh,
fallen.
a Borak has fallen into a trash can in Lego City.
Never forget. 2022 to 2022. The Korak in the bin. All right.
I have quite a few Koraks and pins.
You do have an awful lot of Borak, don't you, Cal?
I do have an awful lot of Borak, specifically Korak.
Oh wow.
I guess we could call you Borak Cow.
Well, that's the end of my involvement in this video. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, so I will say, I think the power scaling happens after you've beaten 3 levels. So there will be actually tougher enemies. And right now, like, that one enemy from the Rahi Beast book isn't showing up yet, but I think it probably will fairly soon. Where am I going here? I gotta... Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I think there's also, like, Kane Ra as well, which do a lot of damage. So there will be harder enemies. They'll take a bit more to dispatch. Like if they were to make, like if somebody were to make a Bionicle first-person shooter in these modern times, like I would really like to see some sort of variation on this. Because Bionicle, like, you know, they were very adamant, like, LEGO was very adamant on not having actual melee combat and just having projectiles everywhere. So, like, basically each Bionicle game, all the enemies just shoot projectiles.
Interesting.
So,
Which is interesting, because a lot of the Bionicle characters have very obvious chainsaws.
well, yeah, I mean, as well, you know, even, it was really funny, like, in the console version of this, like, Kongu actually has Leo's weapon, like the axe, but it actually is just a shotgun, because they can't actually have it be an axe. So, yeah.
Also, there's melee combat in LEGO games based on other.
That's true, that's true. There is,
properties.
like, the lightsaber in Star Wars, right?
Well, even Ninjago is primarily melee combat.
Also, like people who are upset about like violence in media are usually more upset about guns than about swords. I think because it's more of a real world pressing issue.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, as far as why that's the case, like, why each of them do have projectiles. Like, I assume it is something to do with, like, the media and violence, but you're totally right, like, you know, I mean, I guess that's why this got the teen rating, you know, so, there probably was some concern, but not enough to, like, stop them from making this game. So,
Yeah. Like, it's extra weird because around the same time, Doctor Who had, like, basically exactly the opposite policy. Like, they refused to show, well, I think they could show alien guns, but they couldn't show real guns because, like, they wanted to keep it
Britain also
separate
has
from the real world.
different laws.
yeah, I mean, there is this thing about, like, cartoon violence, right? So, like, I think this probably falls under that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it wasn't a legal thing in the case of Doctor Who. It was just a choice by
wait,
the showrunner at the time.
Okay, I'm just spinning right round. This is not supposed to happen.
Right.
Hold on, let me plug back my controller. Sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, so yeah, might spin right round.
Right round. That's enough of that.
Yeah,
so
get
don't-
copyrighted.
Yeah, you're gonna get the copyright strike.
I have no idea what this is like. It's just some Paraka head, I guess. So
Generic Baraka head.
It's just the kind of wacky.
Talk
thing
about
that they put in
gaping
LEGO
mouths
games.
on the statues.
really is. So,
Alright, I think that was 3 levels.
oh well, yeah. I mean, I would want to show you. I mean, if you have to go, John, then you know it's fine. But like, Avak, the boss battle for Avak is just really interesting. So we're almost.
Oh yeah,
there, so,
okay, yeah, no, you haven't gotten back.
Yeah. It's because of commentating does take quite a bit of time, it seems. So I haven't gotten quite through all of Avak's levels. But yeah, I mean, as far as the actual kind of moment-to-moment gameplay goes, it is sort of, you know, you're just mowing down enemies, collecting gears, much like the other version. But yeah, there is more of, like, you know, trying to dodge hits, where I feel like it really isn't much of a concern. Like, enemies you basically don't need to kill at all in the PC version, so they're like a non-issue. But here you do have to, you know.
I wonder if there's a no not required kill run of Bionicle Heroes.
Like in a
Like just
yeah.
only the required kills and nothing else.
Probably. Like, I mean, I know there are a couple people that do speedrun the Bionicle games, but it's a very small kind of community. like the Bionicle speedrunners. I think they have like Pohatu as their like logo, which is appropriate.
Very.
Yeah.
They must have sped.
True.
I think that if I was speedrunning this game,
Yeah.
I would do very badly.
I mean, the quickest I've beaten this game is like 2 hours and 17 minutes, I think. I don't know if I did the actual time correctly, like if I timed it right, but I'm, you know, most of the like recordings that I've seen have been like 4 hours long, which, like, I guess they were just not using Jollar, the most effective Toa, so.
He is the captain of the guard.
The thing is, like, we aren't actually playing Jollar. We're playing the nondescript Toa with Jollar's mask. So it's more like, I don't know, cosplay or something.
Cosplay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a Nui Jaga.
Oh, there's a new Jaga. Hello.
Indeedo.
I think that's the first one.
I will say, I like that the jibs vaguely look like at least what it's supposed to be. They're not quite a pile of the same parts, because some of them are actually broken parts, but
Yeah.
they're vaguely like the enemy they come from.
Yeah. They do have some resemblance. I wonder if it was probably like they have some sort of set animation, but then also like taking some, you know, yeah, because yeah, there are a couple of pieces. Basically, dying is just an inconvenience in this game, so.
Much like in real life.
But yeah, of course. So, and plus, okay, so one thing that I really just kind of find funny is that, so the nondescript Toa can construct, like that's what this is. You know, all these pieces are construction. But in the manual for this game, it also notes what breaking an enemy is, and that does have a name. It's distraction. So yeah,
That actually works.
Yeah, construction. So I'm distracting all of these enemies.
Well, I guess they can't just use jibs, which is the term from, say, Doom or Quake.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other games.
They're robots. They don't have parts. Other than
Well,
they don't
they
have. They do have
they have
parts.
parts.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
yeah, there you go, buddy.
You got there in the end.
You did. I never had doubt in you.
Yeah, I mean, like these designs are obviously like pulled straight from the toys. They don't really get the biomechanical aspect, but I feel like, you know, with kind of the music as well, by Ian Stalker, I think he actually did a remastered version of the tracks, which are on YouTube, and they really have like, they do capture kind of the like both electronic and kind of what it is, industrial vibe of 2006. So I just think that like the music choices are really great, or the actual music composed for this game was super good, or is super good.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
I will say, like, maybe in terms of watching this, like, I don't know exactly how interesting it is to watch just like a bunch of enemies get mowed down, but that's why I'm like, people should just check this game out. Like, it's super fun. Like, you really get into a kind of flow with mowing down enemies, especially with Jollar.
Back in 2006,
Yes.
the wave of Bionicle that came out was initially the Paraka, the Volia Nui Matoran, and then later the Anika.
Right.
Alongside the Titans, Axon, Brutaka, Vazon, and Fenrock.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
you forgot. You forgot the playsets.
Umbra. Sorry, I
You
forgot.
forgot
Umbra and the
gift set.
playsets. And
the
I
Urnock
forgot.
Gift set. And Umbra. You forgot Umbra.
How could we forget
and,
about Umbra? The best set.
What's his name? The Paraka Nightmare.
Or
Urnock, that was Urnock.
Yeah.
Urnock.
I think. Yeah.
They also released all the Titans together as the Cardass Dragon, right? That was
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I have it.
Yeah.
I have that set, and it doesn't come with instructions for the 3 Titans
What?
separately. It does not. No. I got the Cardass Dragon set, and although it includes all the parts for those 3 Titans, I do not have instructions to this day for them.
That's
Other than,
really
online.
funny.
I have all the components, but not the actual dragon set.
One thing about the letters that you collect, like the cheat codes actually do reference some things, like Urnock. Like that's one of the cheat codes. If you get all the letters for Urnock, and like so they do reference a couple of things that are not present in the game, but you know were part of the kind of material from 2006. But yeah, what is all again like just they did pour a lot of stuff into this game, which I appreciate.
I always think of the Vaki as having a much more squat stance. So it's kind of disconcerting to see them standing perfectly upright.
Yeah, I've always imagined them that way too. Because like in every animation and artwork of them, they're always pretty low down.
Yeah, hunched over, knees bent.
Okay,
But I kind of imagine that as both how the Rakshi and
this
Vaki
is
are.
by far the best boss because he's not doing anything right now. He's just sitting in his throne, basically like big chillin'.
He's so cool.
Yeah, and
It's almost like he was in the animation.
yeah. I mean, the thing is like he is big chillin', and you can collect all these gears, and you have to provoke him to start the battle.
Oh, that's cool.
So, again, there's just a lot of interesting concepts that they played around with, and I
And that
appreciate
brings a
it.
whole new moral angle to it. Like,
Yeah.
do you provoke the battle?
Yeah, no, this is really like they really took influence from Shadow of the Colossus with this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So a lot of moral questions asked.
I need to play Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about this. I gotta start though. You what? It's like that's kind of
Oh, he's
yeah,
mad.
I know.
He's not big chillin' anymore.
No, he attack.
Honestly, I think this is more.
He is
defending.
the trigger?
The trigger, the
Yes.
tracer, the drifter, the snake.
Snake,
Beast,
the beast.
boy.
It had
Oh,
to
mix.
happen eventually.
Oh yeah, one really like cool concept that they don't play around with enough in boss battles is that these Zamor Sphere launchers that are attacking me, if you get the upgraded new Paru, you can actually destroy them. And then reconstruct them as the Nondescriptoa so that they can help you in the boss battle.
Oh,
That's
huh.
really cool.
Because he's like the inventor guy.
Yeah, he's an engineer, right?
That is pretty neat.
Oh yeah, I should use hero mode.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got it. Might as well use it.
Yeah. So I just really like this representation of Avak. I would love to see it again, like in a high resolution kind of format. It's just really neat.
So I don't know if it's been made clear to me throughout this playthrough. Waj, what is your stance in this game? Do you like it? Do you
No,
not
I
like
don't.
it?
I don't like it at all. To be honest, like I've just been singing its praises, but it was all a lie. So I actually think this is the worst Bionicle game. But no, like honestly, like it's not the best game ever. Like, but honestly, most of the Bionicle games, I'd say if you're a Bionicle fan, you might like them. But this is probably the only one where I'd say like if you're not a Bionicle fan, I think you could still like this game quite a lot. Just the gameplay itself, I think, stands alone.
I like that this is like in that time that this game was made at a point where they could change some of Huki to be gray, but not all instances of Huki.
Yeah, he's got the because Avak was the last kind of brown character, I think. So like yeah, they had to change it to yellow because brown didn't sell well. But yeah, so John, that's Bionicle Heroes for you. Bionicle Heroes DS.
Okay. It looks like a game.
It is.
I don't know if this is a hot or a cold take,
Oh.
but what if Yuki had brown instead of yellow? Because that would kind of create like a actual kind of rocky look to him, with the gunmetal and brown combination.
It would have to not be Mata Brown, because Mata Brown would look bad. But if it was the same, like
Like the Metro Brown, I'm thinking.
I think if it was the tannish
Ooh,
color
brown
that
Alright.
Avec has as his undercolor, it would work.
Yeah, so I think now a couple of different enemies, or a couple of different colors show up. So now we got Parak up in here.
Ooh. Yeah,
And the
I was just gonna
orange.
say, speaking of brown characters.
No, yeah, that's right. Parak was actually my second set that I ever owned. I think Anawa as well was my first set, so like I've had quite a lot of brown characters at the start. But yeah. Oh, no. No, I'm drowning.
I'm gonna
drowning.
stealthily make my exit.
All right.
We'll see you, John.
See you, Dragon.
I am probably gonna do the same.
Yeah, please export.
Export as Waj.
Yeah, that's right.
As Waj.
Watch.
Waj.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's just something that, like, I never had anyone kind of say that name out loud until like 2015, and then everyone just called me Waj instead of Waj, and I was like really taken aback by it. But I find it really funny.
Have you ever had anyone call you Wooge?
Whoosh.
Wooge.
I don't think you can have an A like it's WAJ.
No,
so,
no.
Maybe.
That wasn't the question.
No, okay. The answer, well, no? Question mark?
Well,
Secondary question. Would you like to?
yeah, would you?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is now.
Cool.
Wooge. Yeah, but again, like with this game, there's like quite a lot of interesting locales. So where are all the enemies at? Actually, I gotta get
Yo!
the cow.
The Cow Cow's seen better days.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the cow
Listen.
is probably like the
Oh wow, that's
it is a laser gun.
Hello, Symmetra from Overwatch. Hello.
Yeah. I think it's basically like kind of the worst weapon in the game, to be honest. Like I don't have much utility of it, but you know, it's a big laser, so you know you can fire it at people, fire it at. Yeah, it takes a bit to get going, so yeah, as you can see. Yeah, unfortunately, there aren't any like funny cutscenes. Apart from like the start, there's like that sort of slideshow of the story.
with Mask of Light Jala.
Yeah, and there's actually
Well, see-
yeah.
Is it wrong to necessarily recap Mask of Light in a game that features Jowler?
I mean, no, but that isn't what the slideshow was doing either.
Okay, but what if it was?
If it was, that would make sense.
Yeah, the thing about it is that like I'm not exactly sure why they wanted to kind of have it so that like you have some kind of main protagonist basically like that's what this is, right? Like this main protagonist, and he gets all the masks, you know, for the various characters. I don't know why they needed to have that framing device. Like they could have just had the Anika not get captured and you know, be fighting the Paraka, but it is kind of neat though. Like even actually in that cutscene, there's like I think what is the like Metro like in the background of it. So they really just like took whatever kind of, you know, Bionicle material they could and kind of just mixed and matched it. Like Jowler for Mask of Light in Metro, but he's like a different one, and then he's going into Protodermis to be turned into a shadowy Toa. Oh, actually, now I can show this off actually with the Q key. Now that I have him powered up, I can actually access these. Oh, Noe Jaga.
More like Noe Jaga. Because no.
No, they can really mess you up like that. Like there is like some of the harder enemies do actually do like a ton of damage. So like if death had more consequence, I do feel like this would have been maybe even more like engaging, I think. And plus like they could have had more enemy variety. As I said before, like they took inspiration from the Rahi Beast book. Like that was part of the development. Like they, you know, that came out in 2005, and like the developers like were using that as reference for at least the console game and this game as well. So they could have had more enemies from the Rahi Beast book, but there's only one. Well, unless you count the 2001 Rahi, of course, you know. Obviously those are also in the Beast book. Although one thing that was kind of funny about the development is that because I guess with LEGO they only sent the most recent sets to the developers. For all these other older sets, they had to actually go through eBay and get them.
That's really funny.
So, you know, to actually like have them as reference for the games. So for the versions.
That is also really funny because eBay in 2005.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, so
which is like just around the era that eBay was starting to be a thing.
I guess it just wouldn't have been too expensive on LEGO. Maybe they didn't have as much in the archives, but yeah, they really did like a lot of ad hoc things, and even they asked the community for suggestions on various things. Like BC Power was kind of involved a little bit for some of the collectibles in the console game. Like some of the BC Power members had a hand in it, and coordinating that, you know, or suggesting that. All right. Oh, no. I was so close to hero mode though. Man, yeah, so yeah, there is a bit of like, I think the thing that I like a lot about this game are the environments primarily, and the gameplay.
They're very nice.
Yeah, the gameplay is also like engaging, but I think maybe does fall a bit repetitive. But I mean, I think that's just the nature of a lot of FPS games, to be honest. Like, you know, that's the primary thing is that you're shooting at enemies, right? You're trying to dodge and weave, you know? Yeah, I think maybe if the enemies had a bit more, like, interesting AI to them. Like, I know, like, in particular, I'm actually getting, like, mowed down by these
You're
guys.
getting a little bit bodied.
Yeah. By these Rakshi.
I'd advise you to be good at video games.
I'll take that advice under consideration. Puts advice in trash. Like
What? I gave
Yeah.
you such wonderful advice,
No,
and you
Cal,
put it directly in
Cal,
the trash.
I can't be. I just can't be good at video games. That's what it is, Cal. So
I've never been disrespected this
No,
much.
I know.
This is a lot to take in.
yeah. I'm sorry, Cal. It had to be said. But yeah.
You didn't even like turn around and like put it in the trash where I couldn't see you do
Well,
it. You
look.
just-
Okay, Cal. I'm gonna put it right here. All right.
Yeah, this isn't still right in front of me.
Well, look. I mean, at least now you get.
In fact, that was even more directly in front of me.
I'm noticing an inconsistency with the Bordak, the blue Vaki. They should technically have orange brain stock as a secondary color.
Oh, is there something wrong with the Visorak? Or not the Visorak, the Vaki, I mean.
That's what did I say, Vaki?
Yeah, you said Bordak, right? Or was it the Visorak?
I said I honestly don't know. Did I just say something?
You know, it's hard
No,
to
that
tell.
was someone in our audience.
I think yeah.
Oh,
it's probably-
okay. Okay, that was the audience member
yeah.
possessing
I mean,
my body.
maybe it was actually the spirit of Chris Daughtry that was whispering in your ear.
Somehow, I do not think that is accurate.
I mean, Chris, we have Daughtry right here, so like, you know, probably could be. as he's going on his journey to construct, to free the Toa-Naika.
As the old saying goes, and then I crashed into you like a runaway train. It could have been the death of me, but then you breathed your breath in me.
And then the game just crashes.
Time stop. You're gonna get us copyright struck.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I this game is just so iconic. I just can't look. It's killing me. They're taking control.
Stop this.
Cease.
This is madness, Slime.
Yeah, so
No, this is Bionicle Heroes.
Oh, true.
it is Bionicle Heroes, and you know, it's got the kind of these kind of water basins, I guess, like just these, you know, puddles of water. Essentially, like, I think the kind of level theme with Holly is that you're going into, like, what is it, Vizoc's sort of lair, I guess. And so, like, I think in one of them there's, like, a large fountain of some kind. Maybe that's where, like, the water originates from. Or, like, some large water basin. So, yeah. I can use.
Yeah, this is maybe a little less of a like, not necessarily less of a cohesive idea, but just sort of less immediately understandable.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I guess this is like the sewer.
Sort of, yeah. I think the most distinct levels are probably the ones that we already went through, like Jaller, like Hyuki and Kongu.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because like with Holly and the later levels, they do a bit of copy and pasting, a bit more copy and pasting, I guess. Like with some of the areas, Kanera, they actually do mess you up a bit. So like they come charging at you. Actually, I don't think okay, maybe Kane Ra actually are a melee thing. So I was wrong. There is one enemy that does melee.
Kind of a little bit terrifying too.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, it would be very terrifying if there was any consequence to dying, but
Yeah, you know, like I would have liked some of the sillier aspects of other games like Legend of Atanui, you know, where like you could actually possess the or not possess them, but like, right? Actually, no, you do possess them with the Komao, right? And kind of ride the Kanera. There's not like different variations on the actual gameplay, like Bionicle the game. Like that's one thing about Bionicle the game that was kind of neat, is that, say what you will about the actual quality of it, but they did have some different like variations on the actual gameplay. Like, you know, there was levels where you could snowboard, you know, something chasing you, or you're chasing a Borak. But here it's very kind of standard. Like all the levels sort of are, you know, you interact with the same way. I think maybe if they did something more akin to Metroid, like, which, you know, this is sort of like Metroid Prime Hunters, but I think if they did something where there was more of an exploration aspect to it, where like you get special abilities, but they're only really used to unlock a couple of secrets that are in each level. Oh, whoa, okay, that I did not expect. Kanera coming out. Like, this is where you're supposed to end the level, like there's a little thing. But the Kanera is like, no, you can't.
did it just get stuck in the door?
It did, yes.
Jump scare. Little did we know this was actually Five Nights at Freddy's the whole time.
Yeah, it's horror game in disguise. Okay, so there's a fountain in this level, the archaic fountain.
It's an archaic
Yes.
fountain. Yes. Archaic is another word for really old.
I wonder actually what
Thank you,
like
dictionary.
yeah. I wonder what actually they were thinking with a lot of this. Like, as far as where the material was actually inspired. Like I imagine some of it was probably, like, I'm not as familiar with the 2006 storyline as it's been, you know, like more than like probably 13, 15 years. I don't know. It's been a long time since I read those.
It's been 17 years since 2000.
That's right, yeah. Which was like 10 years ago.
Genuinely, I just did the math, and it is actually 16, so I was
wow.
saying
Yeah.
kind of jokingly, but I feel old now. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
okay,
what,
we're both
There's,
old.
and it's entirely possible that there is someone listening to this, watching this right now, who was born in the year 2006. 16-year-old.
oh, you're right.
I don't like that.
In fact,
Particular.
it's entirely possible that there's even younger
Can
than
we
that.
strike that from the record? Can we just, like, not imagine that? Like, yeah, I know. I mean, whenever, like, Bionicle is, like, an old franchise now. Like, a really, like, it's 21, right? So, and it's just gonna go up, man. So, like, there are some people keeping it alive, sort of. And I know there's been like rumors of that whole like leaked set for like a gift with purchase.
I think it's pretty much, not officially, but pretty much confirmed at this point that it'll be a gift with purchase.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how like people kind of react to that. I haven't really looked at it.
Here's the thing. For if what the leaks are true, and your viewers, if you have not heard, essentially there is a leak going around at this time that we're recording in October of 2022, because it's entirely possible this might come out not like
Yeah.
you know, immediately after we record this. But at this time, there's a leak. It's Tahu. It's like a little brick-built Tahu, like small little figure. And there's like a Takua too. That's the leak, and it was leaked back in July, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty early on. I saw people talking about it.
And like, here's the thing: is I think it absolutely could be real. I have no stock in it if it is or if it isn't. Frankly, at this point,
Yeah.
you know. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter that much to me because, but like I just know there's gonna be people who are like, oh, this is the best they can do to honor the line that saved Lego is a gift with purchase. It doesn't even have any original Bionicle parts. It's like, guys, come on.
If you listening think that way, you are incorrect. Stop thinking that way.
No, okay. The thing is,
we want to specifically harm each and every one of you.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's our intention with every video, though, right? Like,
absolutely.
So the thing is, like,
I know for a fact that's at least Slime's intent with a lot of things.
I've heard that sort of rhetoric go around because of Brick by Brick, you know. Bionic, it literally starts
the story
with
of how...
it's the Brick by Brick, how LEGO rewrote the rules of innovation and conquered the global toy industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources from our show, Bionicle Autopsy.
Why can you both do it?
I watched a lot of
iconic,
TTV podcast episodes back in the day. But, like, yeah, no, and there's that classic quote from Nude Store, which is, you know, Bionicle is the toy that saved Lego, but, like, it's so wildly taken out of context, and, like...
Well, yeah, the thing is, it's modified, like, where people don't say Bionicle is the toy that saved Lego, but they say, like, it saved Lego from bankruptcy, which, in Brick by Brick, there's, like, a stat where it's, like, I think 100% of the profits, like, something pretty crazy in terms of the profit margins. And that, I think, is the only place where that statistic is found. I just think that, you know, if people are going to take a lot of stock in it, like, I just don't think that, you know, like, repeating this sort of mantra, like, Bionicle is the toy that saved Lego, you need to honor Bionicle. It's like, guys, we're not living in 2003 anymore. Like, and even if we were, like,
even if it was as significant as a lot of fans make it out to be, so what?
Yeah, like, the times have changed, you know, like, like, the market has changed for like, construction is changed, like, so, to you know, yeah, you could say, oh, the legacy of Bionicle, but, like, a lot of it is actually, like, if you read Brick by Brick, a lot of it was more about the stuff that you don't see, like, the stuff in the development aspects of Bionicle that really, like, are still there. Like, if you listen to people that worked on Bionicle, then it's a lot of, like, the actual, like, organization, the organizational schemes in the LEGO group, like, where they you know, had this huge, you know, multi-platform IP, like, that was, like, their first go at that sort of thing, you know, and now they do that, like, you know, the storytelling, all of that is like standard practice, but it was is the legacy of Bionicle, like, so to say that they're not respecting it I think is just not quite correct.
And like, furthermore, I would say Bionicle is not, like, Bionicle does not have feelings. It cannot be upset about it getting slighted.
Yeah.
Making it
in fact, fictional.
Making it out like it's some big moral battle that Bionicle has to be respected is ludicrous.
Yeah.
And, like, but, like, I mean, to play devil's advocate for a second, because there might be some people listening in right now who are like, you know, oh man, like, I kind of feel that way. I just feel like they should, you know, respect Bionicle and all that. And, like, you know, I get that. And, like, I'm right there with you. I grew up with Bionicle the same as, I mean, all of us did.
I gotta get this armor rune.
Oh, you're gonna float?
Yeah.
Float? Oh,
yeah.
get the letter.
I thought you missed it.
That's an armor rune, so, like, now I have a little more, I can take a little more damage, basically. Ooh. So that's why I wanted to get that. Because I keep dying.
Yeah, no, like,
you gotta upgrade your skill tree.
You know, I think the problem with a lot of Bionicle fans is they just don't think about... I have a problem with LEGO fans in general, as I've noticed it, is, like, not a lot of thinking from a developer standpoint. Not thinking from Lego's perspective.
Well, yeah.
Because, like, okay, so you want a remake of... Oh, wow. Vazok just comes right
No,
out of the
like-
gate. You open the door.
No,
he
he's
is
blasting.
blasting. He does
Okay, so,
not...
So I think Vizok is probably
The beast.
is the worst battle because it's just like, you know, there's nowhere to hide from Vizok. He just laser blasts
And
you.
he's got
Like
the hit
he's got the hit
scan.
scan. Yeah, so like he can just instantaneously just mop the floor with you. Like that is this, you know. So it's not like, oh no. Huh. Okay, maybe there are these little nooks, I guess, but very small. Very like when he's out there, and now he's just like, you know, sending out his minions to do his bidding. He's just chilling out, and you can't affect him at all.
But, like, in order to have any sort of, like, okay, well, you're just going to remake the Tahu set, right? Piece by piece, right?
Yeah.
The classic Tahu Mata set. The number of specific molds that set has that are no longer in production that you would need to have in order to produce that set would just be astronomical. It's not impossible. Certainly the Lego company could do it. To say it's impossible is just not, you know, true. But practical, no.
Wait, to like,
Like-
to like get the same molds, you mean? Like as
Yeah.
yeah, I mean they don't have those anymore, right? Like
No, and even the sets in 2001 themselves, like, are, you know, utilizing, you know, the Toamata utilize pre-existing parts. You know, every like Lego set, you know, will have, you know, molds and such like that, especially in that era where they were more likely to make new molds than nowadays. But even still, like, you're gonna use what's around you. Like, Bionicle's using Slicer parts and using Robo Rider parts, and
Yeah.
you know, the Slicers and Robo Riders are using Technic parts. Like, you're not reinventing the wheel every time you make a set. Like, oh man, okay, so I'm producing all the hyper-specific parts for this specific set. Like, no. So it's just not practical or feasible. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, there's no reason for it to happen.
yeah, like I think the biggest thing that isn't in consideration is like what is the market actually like, and like how much do things cost? You know, like that's the, like, if you think about any kind of business, you know, if the incentives aren't there, and if the structure of, like, you know, can you actually make some kind of a profit off of something, then it's not gonna happen. So like I think most people think about it from like a story perspective and like a kind of, you know, the marketing perspective as well. Like that's why G2 kind of didn't, you know, well, one of the reasons why, like there's a lot of reasons, which actually have to do with like the misalignment of, you know, who was the target audience, right? Like they were trying to target really young kids, but then the actual market was more the fans of G1, you know, who are much older. So like it's those sorts of factors, you know.
I think the problem there is that, like, the fans of G1 could never be enough of a market to sustain a toy line. At least,
Yeah.
I would say ever, but especially in 2015.
Yeah, and that's the thing about G2 that, I mean, we've talked about G2
Right.
a fair bit on this channel. As it was coming out, as it was dying, post it coming
I remember-
out, or post it
I remember
dying, all
distinctly,
that.
like in 2018, we did that G2 art book thing, and I remember at the end of it, I said like, we're never ever talking about G2 ever again, because we just talked about it just a ton, you know. But yeah, I think we're probably gonna make some sort of reference to it again soon, like in an actual video. That's not a let's play, but yeah.
But like, yeah, no, like, it, I think Joggin has brought it up before, like, it just wasn't going to work, no matter what, because, like, you didn't have that nostalgia base that, you know, you have now, but also just, like, you know, Bionicle was one of the most popular toys of its era, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, like, are the people who grew up with Bionicle going to buy those sets now? You know, if you were a kid in 2000 and, you know, let's say 2005, if you were 10 years old, well, 2005 was how many years ago now? Like 17?
Yeah.
17 years. So, like, you're 27 now. You're gonna buy a toy?
Mhm.
Like, maybe, but like, and not to say that 27-year-olds don't buy toys. I am 27 and bought Lego literally earlier today.
This is not true.
But like, you know, as far as the greater populace goes, that's I am not adhering to the norm. Like that, like, you know.
I mean, there are a group of AFOLs, of course, and the thing is, like in terms of trying to capture some kind of market, right? Like, it depends on the price. Like, if you have a really high quality, like, premium item, then you're going to appeal to much less people, but the profit margins are still going to be, like, you know, good because the price is so high, right? Like, you know, that's why they have, like, really complex, like, big Lego sets, you know, that they can have to, like, an 18-plus audience because they're so expensive. And the thing is, the reason why Bionicle worked so well is because they were at a very low price point, so that you can actually, like, collect the figures. And they were also part of a collection of figures, so that, like, incentivized you to get more of them.
I think a lot of fans of Lego especially, but just fandom in general, don't realize how niche, quote-unquote, fandom actually is. Like, fans who grew up with Bionicle will look at it and be like, yeah, no, I still like Bionicle, and I would still buy Bionicle, so that means that everybody who liked Bionicle as a kid probably would still buy Bionicle, when that's just not the case. Like,
Yeah.
people who would still buy Bionicle are such a small fraction of the kids who grew up with it that that's not a market.
Yeah. So, like, if Lego were to give Bionicle a kind of new shot, then, like, a new audience, right? Like, to appeal to a new audience, I think that's what they were trying to do, but they captured kind of, you know, the pre-existing audience, and were trying to... And the thing is, like, what do you think they could do if they were to do something like that? Like, if you had any ideas, trying to capture some kind of new market, because they would have to have the sets probably at a lower price point, probably, because, like, at a higher price point, no kid is gonna get that, right?
No.
Right.
It's only gonna be the older audience, so unless they, like, really target the, like, it could still work, like, as a premium item, but I don't know.
And I think you need to... The market you need to chase is the Fortnite kids.
Fortnite kids.
Because they're the cool kids now.
So what you're saying is that we should have Tahu in Fortnite?
Yes.
Genuinely, as much as you're saying that as a joke,
I'm
I
not
guarantee
saying
you,
it as a joke.
there's nothing more that would resurrect Bionicle than Tahu being in Fortnite.
This is what we've come to.
I guarantee.
The state of the community all rests on Fortnite.
It all rests on Fortnite. There's this rumor going around right now that they're making a Battle Bus set, which is weirdly a higher price point.
Interesting.
It might be that they're trying to pretend like Fortnite isn't for kids. But I think the reality is that there's a lot of concessions that you'd have to make to have Bionicle in a current climate. You'd have to have a smaller price point. You'd probably have Mixel-like structure. Have to be that sort of a scale.
They do have new construction, sort of like the system construction, like with the Spider-Man and the Iron Man sets that were out. So perhaps they maybe could utilize that in some fashion, but you know, and plus with license costs, those tend to be a little more expensive. But But with Bionicle,
The new Taku's
yeah.
definitely using that shoulder piece from the Marvel sets as a mask, isn't he?
According to the leaks, it's not.
Okay.
I will say with all this said, like I know that there are some people that get really snippy about like the Lego Ideas like Sakota set that like was up for the Bricklink designer program back in 2021, right? Like it was, and so the thing is, like I didn't really have any kind of problem with that. Like some people are like, oh, nobody showed up for it, but it's like, you know, well, I think it's totally fair, you know, like it's not like you have to support a brand like if you don't like the product, you know. I think that kind of thinking is just like not very helpful, like so, you know, we should try to like at least get to something that people will like, you know, like I think that's one component of it. I mean, there were people, like, I liked the Sakota set, but that wasn't necessarily, like, a consensus, I think. Man.
I thought it was a really cool idea conceptually. I think the execution was a little bit off. And if it was the sort of thing that, like, this is being turned into a Lego Ideas set, I would have maybe supported it a little bit more heavily, but where it was, like, what you see is what you get with the Bricklink designer program. I was just sort of like, if this is what I get, I kind of don't want it.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah, no, and I think blind loyalty is, especially to a brand, is always just sort of like, you know, a little bit suspect. I think that you should be able to hold anything that you like up to a certain amount of scrutiny. That doesn't mean that you're not, you know, hate everything that you like, and you're not allowed to. Like, no, like, even if you know, certain things are like really bad. Like for example, Pokemon. You're still allowed to like it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, like, you know, if you just put things in really, like, binary terms, like, you know, you have to be a fan or you're a hater, you know? Like, I just think that oftentimes things can kind of devolve into that, like, in discussions about these things. And so, like, to me, I think that trying to focus on sort of the developmental aspects of things and like what would also, you know, potentially please people who like the older, you know, because like the thing about G2 is that I think the sets themselves were basically like, you know, the main thing that people really appreciated from G2, but then the thing surrounding it was not really like, you know, didn't really capture people because it wasn't targeted towards them. So a certain amount of it, I think, is like, you know, it's valid to say like marketing has a quite large role to play, but you know, to actually get some sort of product off the ground in the first place, it doesn't start with marketing, or it shouldn't start with marketing. It should always start with, you know, the actual like you know, who is this for? Right, like, and then trying to figure things around that, because then I think you can get to really vacuous products if you just think about marketing first. So, yeah, that's sort of the certain ideas about development.
That guy's just kind of chilling there. He
Yeah.
was not giving you any problems, and you murdered him.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is that like, I'm trapped.
I hope you feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, the more I play this game, I realize that maybe I am I'm the villain here. Like, I mean, he is sort of a
Quote Billie Eilish.
I mean, Chris Daughtry is a bit of a suspect character, you know, as this fictional Chris Daughtry. So
now I'm just picturing Chris Daughtry cosplaying as all the various Telemarket.
yeah, Chris Daughtry with an SMG, Chris Daughtry with a laser gun, a water laser gun. You'll have to see it.
I don't know why, but when I picture, I don't think I've ever heard Chris Daughtry speak in my life that I can think of.
Oh, really?
But when I picture his, I'm sure maybe I have at some point, but I haven't pictured his voice. But what I hear is the voice of Keanu Reeves.
I think I did.
Just sort of like a this sort of a sounding of a voice. That's what I picture when I hear Chris Daughtry.
Like, you could just, it completely ignored this sort of thing, but, like, it's actually, this is ice cold water that I'm going into.
Ooh.
Get the secret.
And a letter.
Yeah. So they are pretty sneaky with oh, well, okay. So what happened there was I got scared, and I drowned because I changed to Kongu.
Yeah, a little bit.
He just snuck up on me, like, no big deal.
I don't know if you've shown off all the weapons of all the various.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know what Matoro's does.
Let me see. So Matoro, he is like kind of a shotgun, I think. He does this very small blast and takes up like a lot of energy.
That seems not very useful.
It's very slow.
It looks cool.
It does look cool, yeah. I mean,
and it looks cold.
It's got that going for it, but like, yeah, I mean, as far as the utility.
So you get it, 'cause ice.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It looks cold.
Yeah, I know. And unfortunately, the thing is, they don't have any kind of like. Speaking of Pokemon, they don't have any kind of like type advantages, which I feel like could have added a bit more extra strategy to like so that you're changing, the Toa, because like some enemies. Oh, Nuju.
Matatu.
Slime's favorite mask, I think. All right.
It's really funny because it kind of, just happened to be the mask that I got associated with.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite mask, but...
Because you were Toa Nuju.
It's an alright mask. Matatu is what? Telekinesis?
Yeah.
That's alright. There are better masks out there. There are some masks that are just blatantly better than others.
I will say, this room in particular, always, in my test recording of this, is just like, because you get respawned, like at the very start, you have to go up the elevator each time. So yeah, I just need to get good at this.
It's true. See, that's a good motivation to not die.
Okay, yeah. Gotta jump out of the way. Yeah, and jumping as well, like that to perform that, I think you need to like double tap the DS stylus onto the screen. I haven't even mentioned the actual like DS screen. Like, it's basically just a radar, so you can see all the enemies,
I like that laughing pose for Matoro.
Yeah.
What a jolly fellow.
Hope he doesn't die.
Yeah, it's accurate to his character in the story, where he's the happiest, most carefree person.
I do like how the Toa and Ica have, are honestly probably some of the most fleshed out characters in Bionicle canon, apart from, maybe the Mata.
Yeah.
And by the Mata, I mean Tahu. But, like, just by virtue of them having, started as Matoran and having a whole, set of lore and character stuff that happened before they became Toa. Mataro is just depressed.
Yes.
Just gonna hide away.
Like, maybe you shouldn't make someone the sole villager who knows all the horrible secrets of you and your 5 awful friends. Like, maybe that messes someone up.
That is a really cool concept, though, because, like, obviously, translators are people that exist in the real world. As there is, in fact, more than one language, as I've heard.
Really?
No, that's...
I thought there's only...
What? You speak many languages.
There's only Matoran, though. That's the only language that exists that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, the two languages, Matoran and Bird.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that is an interesting, you know, character as a concept. Is, you know, this translator who, you know, as a translator, you're sort of like bound by like, you know, oh, I can't talk about this because I technically didn't hear it, but I did hear it because I'm the translator. Sort of that same sort of concept as like, you know, that classical, like, I feel like that's a thing in like Regency of like, oh, I'm the servant who's just pouring the pitcher, and I'm not hearing that my the lord of my manor is committing genocide. Like,
Yeah. I gotta reread like the Ignition trilogy or the Legends books, because I do own all of them, but it's like I read them all the way back in 2009, so like I've basically forgotten everything about Bionicle like from then. Although like I will say they don't really have the mask powers in this game. Like they do have like, you know, various abilities, but they're more kind of for traversal options. Like you can go into lava or you can go into water. You can kind of, well, levitation is, or anti-gravity is something more, but like, yeah, they could have also maybe incorporated NASCAR somehow, but I forget exactly like what the Anika had.
Jala has reflexes with the Kanohi Calyx.
Oh,
which is dodge good.
I wish I could dodge good.
Yes.
It would be interesting to see that implemented as some kind of bullet time mechanic. Actually, that is something we could implement.
Holly has.
Oh, Holly's is the worst.
pass
Holly has
out.
the power of plot.
Of passing out, yes.
Matoro had ghost.
Matoro also had passing out.
Yes. Become
Uh,
ghost.
yes.
Kongu had telepathy.
Yes.
And
Which I don't see how you could adapt that to this.
Telepathy.
you could
Oh.
maybe have like some kind of like
Oh, here it
totem
is.
or something like that. Oh, there's
Oh!
creature. Oh yeah,
Oh!
there's the
Shoot, that's
The Frost Beetle.
it's the frost beetle.
This is the only fan model, and is basically like a kind of mini boss. So one.
But
yeah.
Waj, but Wooge,
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
you said this game doesn't have mini bosses.
Well, I said sort of, so that there's like there's a qualifier there.
No, you said kind
Or,
of.
oh, sorry. Well, look, I'm just eating.
When will the lies end,
They
Wooge?
won't. I'm Matoro. I'm having a huge smile, a maniacal smile.
He's just having a giggle, a
Yeah.
guffaw.
Oh, here we
A
go.
little
The Drifter.
A drifter.
So I have actually had this game glitch out on me a bit, like only with this boss battle. For some reason, Thok just doesn't want to be killed. Like he will just kind of go on a bunch of platforms out in the distance that you just can't reach at all, and then you have to restart the level. Oh. The music just changed.
You've got one enemy. On
Yeah.
the
Oh no.
radar.
Oh no.
Oh, is Thok
He's
behind
got
you?
me. Dang it. I was gonna get hero mode and dispatch him pretty quickly.
And then power of flight goes to Nuparu.
I'm not hitting him at all.
No, he power.
Sorry. You gotta...
You know, you just gotta hit the hitbox.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, sometimes I've had it where, like, he basically goes out of bounds. Like, he just, like, is jumping, but then, like, falls to the ground.
Oh!
So, and then you just can't reach him at all. And yeah, the hit scan is probably the most apparent in Vzox level, but also in this one, where it just kind of like, yeah. It's pretty straightforward though. Like it's an open
His
area.
head was kind of going crazy there for a moment.
I don't know what Thok is on, to be honest. I mean, he's on these platforms out in the distance.
He's on ice.
He's on ice, yeah. A Thok musical. Thok on ice. But, let's see. Alright. I don't know how many hits he takes to get. Because if you get hero mode, that you can dispatch him. Like, I've dispatched him in a minute. Like, literally. Oh, there he is. Okay.
There it is.
Begone Thok.
How long have you been thinking of that one?
I have it written down, actually. I was gonna... So, yeah, because I remember Bio was like... He's not here at the moment, but, like, you know, if it was Thok, we should say Begone Thok. Anyway. Who's the last guy? Radak. So this is the second to last level. There is a level... Oh, okay, so... Basically, there's a Makuta level, essentially. But I'll tell you about it when we get to it.
Makuta's not...
No, look, Makuta lives. He's totally in this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I you know, of the mask powers, some of them are definitely more implementable in gameplay form than others.
Yeah.
I think the only one that you just, I think, straight up would not be able to implement in a story form is Holly's. You'd have to get real creative with, you know, her mask power, which is, my brain hurty when I go toward Mask of Life.
Like Spidey senses, or like what?
Spidey senses, but only for the Mask of Life.
Oh. You know, the Mask of Life...
That's, as I recall, that's what it was. It's like important, like, there's some, like, distinguishing factor about it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but...
Yeah, I don't remember if the Mask of Life is actually in this game. I think it is just, like, you have to beat the Paraka to unlock the... Like, to save the Anika.
And presumably the Mask of Life to make sure my doesn't die?
Vizon and Fenrock don't show up in this game, actually. Which is, like, they're very prevalent in the console version, but, you know, and they're, you know, the final boss in the console version. And also in the GBA version as well, weirdly. So, in this game, they're weirdly absent, so I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I almost wonder if, like, this particular development team, like, because the only 2006 things in here are the Anika and the Paraka, right? Like, there's nothing in here that's...
From 2006?
Like, what did I say?
Yes. I think you're probably right. Like, I mean...
Like, all of these enemies, all of these...
I mean, what were the enemies in 2006? Like, there was a Nektan, maybe? Like the Zamar launchers?
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, there's no Mook enemies in 2006, it's just the Paraka and the Anika. But, like, they could have Axon, Brutaka... And...
That's true. Like, they did have those in the other versions, so, you know. As far as why they were not included, like, probably just, like, hardware limitations, I'd imagine. Or, I mean, there's a lot of constraints, obviously. So they did copy and paste, like, I think it's most prevalent in this level, actually. Like, because some of the areas are copied and pasted, like, verbatim quite a lot in these areas in Radak.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing. Is this the same arena as where the Bolrock were coming out of the holes from earlier?
Well, I mean, like, in particular, in this level, it's like we're in this room right now, but we'll see this kind of room again. So, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, yeah, they could have done some palette swapping, of course, obviously, like, you know, the Borok and all that. I mean, even in set form, those were kind of palette swaps if you think about it. So, like the Borok and all that. And to a certain extent. I mean, they had unique weapons, obviously, though. But it wouldn't take too much time to implement that sort of thing. I think.
No.
Yeah.
I don't care about you.
Oh.
The Balrog sets so good they made them 12 times.
What's that noise? Yeah.
Was it a cow?
Oh, it might have been my chair squeaking.
I
Sorry.
I genuinely thought there was a guitar going for New Power. That's kind of
Yeah.
not gonna...
Adds to the ambience.
I think Radok was always my favorite one of the Baraka. I just thought his ability was cool.
What was Radak's ability again?
He can't be defeated the same way twice.
Yeah, Radok was the first set I got from the Paraka. So like it was Radok and then Avak, I think. I don't think I got any of the other. Oh yeah, here's lava, and I can go under it and show it off.
Aha!
The golden gears. Sometimes there are these golden gears, which basically like give you hero mode. So yeah, might as well use it.
Yeah, why not?
I think they also do give you a special letter as well if you get the golden gears. So they're like a letter and a power up at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
Huh. Let's see. So I guess I can show Nuparu's weapon. Basically, he's like charging up some energy, and you blast it.
That weapon looks nothing like in Bionicle. I kind of love it. That's a very sci-fi weapon.
It honestly, like, what it reminds me of the most is in Metroid Prime 1, where, like, when you shoot a missile, you kind of have your arm cannon open up like this.
Right.
I honestly wonder if they just took that verbatim, because that, while that isn't in Prime 2, it is in Prime Hunters, where you have this sort of animation. So, like, they could have actually just taken it from Prime Hunters.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's use Jolly.
Yeah, I was gonna say back to the
They
one
really
weapon
did
that
make
actually works.
Jala the only one with a good weapon.
Kinda. I mean, okay, when we get to the Makuta level, some of the other weapons do have more utility. Like Kongu's weapon upgraded, you can target many enemies at once and like do a chain electro thing. So like if there's a bunch of enemies around, then you know you can dispatch them kind of. Oh, I'm all turned around. No. Yeah, like you can.
I don't even believe there is a Makuta level. I think you're lying.
No, look. You got.
You are a master of deceit.
I mean, look, no, it's totally. There is totally.
It's true. Wooge is a master of the
Makuta level at the end of this game. Okay, not Josh should do about it.
I think I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, not would you knew about it? I don't know. Look, all right. Basically, Kongu's weapon is good in groups. That's kind of, and there are quite a lot in later situations. So there is a bit of like utility, but like for my money, you know, like Dollar is the best.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear that, yeah, as far as general utility goes, yeah.
Yeah, so I think.
But see, yeah, if you were using it and like, oh man, it's less effective on the Tanakh. Oh, if you use
Matoro's weapon, or maybe
Matoro's
no,
weapon.
Holly's weapon, right? Yeah.
Or Holly's weapon. Yeah, or both. Just have both.
Yeah.
And I think that's a gameplay. I think that's a game design thing that's actually really important if you're giving your player a bunch of different tools, they're always going to prefer one tool more than the others. So you have to give them incentives to use things that are not that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like in that game I don't talk about, Breath of the Wild, the reason that you don't use the same weapon all the time always is because it breaks.
Right,
Yeah.
yes. in The Last of Us, there's this enemy called a bloater, which I was really struggling with until I found out that, oh, it's weak to fire, so the Molotov cocktails that I've never used the entire rest of the game are actually important here.
I think that definitely is something that could be added. And so like yeah, a lot of this level is actually pretty copy and pasted, I think. So having also a kind of larger arsenal of weapons to use, it really, I think that sort of game design works a lot better, like, you know, really honing in on the utility of, like, you know, these weapons can dispatch, you know, these sorts of enemies. Like, you see that a lot with, like, Ratchet and Clank, you know, like, there's just a lot of weapons, but certain weapons do, like, a bit more, like, you know, are used, you know, kind of in certain situations. Like, you know, if you have some sort of grenade launcher, then that's good for, like, you know, if you have a group of enemies in one place, then you can, you know, get them all at once.
And
you know, stuff like
and
that.
I think that's part of the problem here. Every combat encounter is kind of exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a huge variety in, like, how it presents enemies to you, how they're attacking you.
Yeah. So, oh wait, I think my controller stopped working. Hold on. Okay. There we go.
I was gonna say, are we gonna die right at the
Yeah, like at the door.
right at the you know, penultimate level, or penultimate?
Yeah, I don't think we're at the penultimate level yet. I think this is the third level, or maybe it's the second level. I don't know.
This is the second.
I haven't been keeping track. So
You see, I can keep track because of the
yeah.
little symbol for.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's there's the first level, and then, you know, like, when you get to the second level, there isn't any mask upgrade. It only happens in the third level, right? We upgrade to the second. If that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yes, I also have been watching this game. I recognize that absolutely.
Yeah, so I am very curious to hear, like, what people think of this game, and, you know, if this video has somehow motivated you to check it out, or if the edited video probably, like, because I do intend to actually, like, edit this down into a shorter video. I think we've had some fun moments with it, you know. So I think definitely it's something that I would just really want people to check this out. I think it is worth playing.
Wait, you like this game?
Okay, so maybe it is the third level actually. So yeah, we are in the third level.
All the levels in this one look exactly the
I
same
know,
as each
I know.
other.
Yeah, it's this is not the crown jewel. Of Final
That's
Fantasy
why I
XP,
saved it for last, because, like, I wanted to show, like, a front load it with the good levels, and then Raidak is just kind of is okay, but it's not.
That did my boy dirty.
Yeah, the Tracer.
It's a crime, I tell you. A damn crime.
As opposed to a cram dime.
It's true! You're so good at knowing things, Slime.
I know many things.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that they could have done more of, actually, is sort of with these sorts of levels where there's really tight spaces right here, like, you know, with the Nui Jaga, right? Like, it only shoots in this one hallway, so, like, I feel like they could have done a bit more of this sort of stuff. Although I do like the fact that they have open areas, but they could have done things to, like, shape the levels in interesting ways. Like, even if the enemies themselves don't have interesting attack patterns, they could have also shaped the levels in a way so that, like, you know, maybe the enemies have more of an advantage. They do that a little bit, but, like, it's not. I think it could have been honed in on a little more.
Yeah. Like maybe you have the Bow-Rock that are like they drop down from the ceiling on, or the Bow-Rock, the Visorak, they drop down from the ceiling on you sporadically.
Yeah, or like you could even have the Visorak. Like, I mean, if they did actually have more enemy attack patterns, I just thought, like, you know, what if they had a thing where the Visorak would like cocoon you, like try to cocoon you if you didn't shake them off or whatever, you know?
Yeah, like they slow you down or something.
Yeah. Like they could be hanging from the ceiling, right? And you have to dispatch them early. But then if you like go underneath them, then they'll grab you real quick, and then you have to like break out of their cocoon, like in like Web of Shadows.
You know, everyone out there is clamoring to make the Motunui game, right?
Yeah.
Everyone out there, all their fan games, everyone's trying to make the Motunui.
Yeah.
Who is out there making the games for Metro Nui? Who is making the games for Voya Nui? That's where you get some of the cool stuff.
I know, right?
You're very correct.
Like, I'm not saying Motunui isn't cool, because it is. I'm not saying Motunui is not the most iconic, because it is. But, like, you know, if you're making a game, like, the Vaki, you know, that's a cool, enemy to potentially have an attack pattern.
I think someone should
Waka.
build Metro
Wow.
Nui in like Minecraft or something. Zeph, as a reminder, your voice. I'm assuming you're not recording at the moment. So
Wait,
your voice will not be.
Yeah,
in
your
the
voice
video.
won't be in the video, does have. So I don't know, like.
So we cannot really respond because then what we are saying will make no sense in the video.
No, we're still going.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, I think I would really like to see more Bionicle fan games done in the later years. Like, I think I've said that for quite some time. Like, and I think this game is one, sort of example of something that I just like to see more of. Like, not necessarily a first-person shooter, but having Bionicle in kind of maybe even different interpretations of Bionicle. I feel like there's a lot of trying to like really hone in on canon stuff, but maybe if people took more of a broader view on things and tried to just be inspired, like, and reimagine things that are kind of maybe a little vague in the canon, I think that could lead to more interesting designs. That's just my opinion on it. I don't know.
But no, Lodge, canon is the most important thing out
Yes.
there. If you don't
Right,
abide by
sorry, I
canon,
forgot.
then what
To-
do we
to-
have?
To our audience, if you are currently working on a Motunui based project, Waj is saying that he hates you.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I forgot my opinion was wrong. Let me correct that. So yeah, I mean, basically, like I like the quests from Motunui, or the Massive Power game as well. Like, they look like very promising projects. But yeah, I think that there's just a lot of potential that's untapped. And I think that maybe it's just a matter of time, basically, that people will just get kind of, bored of the oversaturation of things. And you do kind of see that in some fan projects. Okay. So, Waka.
Mwaka, that's a new enemy type.
Yeah.
Or reskinned of the Kanara,
but,
that's the set.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think that, there are, like, some animation team. I think, not Project Iliad, the other one. Oh, I can't remember their names. The Mangai project. That, of course, are looking at the Toa Mangaya. Like, I don't know how to say it, but like for Metro Nui, Toa Lee Khan's team. So I think we are seeing the first inklings of like something beyond, because there's just only so much you can work with like 2001 and the early years, I think. Or it's just oversaturated, basically. So people want something new.
And remember, if you disagree with Woosh in any way, direct all your hatred and vitriol into the
I'll
comments.
fight you in the comments. All right. Oh.
As a wise man once said, get in the comments.
Very
okay.
true.
There's a letter in this lava field. I don't know why this is here.
It is there for the purpose of having lava.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
Yeah,
when
the
you
lo-
did
the
say
logic's falling apart a
earlier,
little
like,
bit.
oh, Joller can like go through lava. I was like, cool. Where is one naturally going to see lava outside of the lava
Right there,
levels?
Simon. Look at what a fool you were.
oh, yeah, I forgot to show this off actually. So one of the special abilities you also get with the upgraded Toa is like a larger sort of weapon, like here. It's like this is like a better burst shot basically that takes up a lot of energy, or relatively more energy. But the SMG, you know, the rate of fire is like so good on Joller. It kind of doesn't need to be used at all. I think we've almost gotten through.
I know, this is, I think, probably the end of the like, getting close to the end of the level here.
We gotta fight Radak, and Radak is also kind of not a great boss battle, to be honest.
Oh, there's been some great ones. It's okay.
Oh,
beetles.
hello, there's 2 frost beetles.
Huh?
You know, the Tatarak guy probably caught wind of this and was like, wait, but I'm the one who won.
Yeah, I'm on the cover of the Rahi Beast book. Like, what gives?
Wait, where's my guy in a game?
Yeah.
You know, in fairness, I think having a canonically ginormous creature, and even in a set form, fairly large thing, makes it a little difficult to program. I do love how Nuparo is just like going like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
The Tracer? Overwatch?
Yeah. This is the actual sequel to Overwatch.
Yo?
Oh,
Poggers?
oh, here we go. He's the guy.
Oh, he snuck up on you a little bit.
No, yeah, he did. So one of the things about this game is that it actually has a multiplayer mode, but there is no footage of it online because it's not an online multiplayer. It was local, and it was not DS download play either. Oh, he was not even using his weapon. He was just like trying to.
He's just walking in place
Yeah, I
there.
think he's stuck.
He's just sauntering on
Oh.
towards you.
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
there you go.
It also looks like his hit scan might be a little bit fairer because there's a moment where he walks into place
Yeah,
before firing.
maybe. Oh.
I also like how he is firing bolts of energy from the very blatant buzzsaw, as opposed to the
No, he's
other
dead.
end, which maybe could be construed
Oh.
as a gun. Oh, he's dead. Oh,
That was
quick.
fast.
Yep.
Got Nuparu. Alright, so now let's go. That isn't the end of the game, because, as I promised,
What? No, you're lying. There's no such thing as a Makuta.
Makuta's domain.
What?
Ravage Ruin.
Oh, there's a full.
Yeah, the levels here are actually pretty short. So we're out in space, I think.
Yes, this is canon.
Yeah. Basically, it's just kind of a hodgepodge of the various different elements of each level. So this is supposed to be like, you know, Zaktan's,
Conqueror's level.
right? So, yeah.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, no, I immediately picked up on that.
Maybe I should use this weapon.
I'm somewhat surprised Lego was like, okay, yeah, this can be how your game ends.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the direction was for this because like, you know, there's like Makuta. Okay, Makuta's like appearance in this game is actually kind of. I won't spoil it, but it's something, all right, but the actual like boss, like the final boss of this game, maybe I just won't say anything about it. Actually, you'll see it.
We'll believe
we'll see
it.
it. We'll
Okay.
get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, it is.
I don't even believe Makuta appears in this game.
I don't believe that Makuta.
Yeah, I
appears
mean,
in
look, it's called
Makuta's
Makuta's domain, but like, yeah, you're right.
There's a golden gear up there. Why?
I
There's a
see. I
golden
know.
gotta
I
get the
know.
golden
I see
gear.
it. The thing is, with
Get the golden
with
gear.
these levels, actually, it kind of does utilize the levitation aspect quite a bit because these are like floating platforms out in space. So you do actually have to use Kongu to get over here in the first place. So you know, a bit of utility of the other weapons, but also the other weapons aren't that good.
You know, this whole time I've been picturing, like, this game's original release utilizing, like, the 3DS's circle pad, and it just occurred to me that, nope, this is all with the
Yes.
D-pad.
That's right. Well, also the stylus you could use as well.
That's awful.
Yeah. So, like, I don't recommend using, like, the actual hardware. Like, just you know, go on the high seas. Yeah. It is, the ROM is available on Biomedia Project, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think anyone actually cares, like, the publishers or whatever. But, yeah, so...
But it is never ethical. Remember,
Alright,
kids, it
yeah.
is never ethical to pirate. Except in cases...
Except if it's Bionicle, then whatever.
Except if it's Bionicle, then... I do kind of, you know, on the down low, I do kind of like how Biomedia Project is so flagrantly, like...
This is where you go to pirate the entirety of Lego Bionicle.
Well, I mean, like... they've got a collection of everything, and it's available for free. And that's not something you see very much these days.
I mean, like, I do like efforts like that, like, you know, that are trying to preserve things, because they do get lost over time. The less lost media we have, you know, more, I guess, future generations could kind of experience things. Oh, I get the, I think the golden gear's gone. Rip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you missed your
Frost Beetle. But he can't get me because I'm up here. Or no, he can get me, never mind.
Are you sure?
Oh. Well,
Woosh, when will your lies
look,
end?
I have faulty memories of this game.
Oh, look back.
Even though
maybe it's back?
No, even though I've played this game, like, this is my 4th time playing through it, like, I just can't remember.
Jump into space. Why is it showing Holly?
I think Holly's the next... Yeah, the Lost Lagoon. So it basically shows the next Toa in the sequence.
Gotcha.
And yeah, the reason that I'm, like, cycling through the Toa like this is because, like, you can actually just, like, click on the icons with the DS stylus, but I don't want to use my mouse. So I'm just using the analog controller. Oh.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but these levels are...
Yeah, the end of this game is just going to be you going across various islands in space and fighting enemies for a couple minutes.
A thrilling finale, to be sure. Like, yeah, I mean, look, every finale must take place in space. Mandatory.
This is
Okay.
not correct. Stop lying, Woosh!
What about it isn't correct, Cal?
The fact that you said it.
Oh, I guess you're right about that.
Yeah. Get dunked
Alright,
on, nerd.
yeah. Just a bunch of Lyrac.
I'll pay you to never say Lyrac again.
Let's see.
The H is there for a reason, Waj.
Oh yeah, there's a big boy actually. That's one thing.
Oh, hello! Hello.
He's supersized.
Introducing large
he's gone.
Borok.
Oh,
And it's dead.
he popped very easily.
Yeah.
This one's not very long.
No, most of them aren't very long actually, so you can get through this fairly. Oh, Frost Beetle.
Oh, Frost Beetle again.
I think they mostly just use the Frost Beetle as like the ending enemy now for each of these levels.
Yeah, you said there aren't really mini bosses, but this guy's getting used a fair amount.
Well, they're kind of sort of like mini bosses. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh wait, Jaws.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
I think the game is breaking. So great. I don't know why that happened, but yeah. So I think the enemies only show up when you actually levitate. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, Kangu's weapon doesn't have a huge range, so it's always Jollar. in the console version, it was all Hyuki. Hyuki was the most used, and this is Jollar.
That at least makes a little more sense. He's red.
Which means he's the leader.
The GBA version doesn't allow you to actually switch between Toa on the fly. Each level is constrained by the specific Toa of each element. So yeah, like it doesn't. I don't think that has an optimal one, but most of them seem to. It seems.
When are we playing through Bionicle the game for Game Boy? Hey,
I know. I remember Joggin wanted to like. But yeah.
No. No, that is a game no one should play.
Oh no! Wait, I fell.
I was being facetious.
Oh, I fell into space. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen Bionicle the game on the GP.
It's bad. It's a bad
I
game.
remember playing it like, you know, on the original sort of Game Boy Advance, and like you just can't see it at all. Like there's no backlight, and it's a game that like it's an isometric kind of game where it's very hard to tell where you can actually stand and jump on.
You
like,
can't
things.
tell where you can stand, where you are, what direction you're pointing, what direction things are.
I love Fast Beetle.
It's ugly. The progression is dumb.
Yeah, I have only vague memories of playing that game. The only thing I remember was the cheat code to just go to the end. But
Yeah. I will give it the benefit of it has 13 levels in it. 6 for the Toa Mata, 6 for the Toa Nuva, and then a Takanuva level.
oh yeah,
And that's cool.
I haven't actually shown this off. That with Matoro, I'll show it off in a bit, but Matoro, he can actually, like in the console version, he has a sniper ability, and you can also, like with the upgraded Matoro, you can snipe.
Okay, that looks like good though. Why have you not been using
Well,
that?
it was only with the upgraded Matoro, so we only got it like really late in the game. Oh, and also I fell.
That makes sense.
And also, you
Yeah, I know. I don't think I need to use Matoro. I think Jollar.
Yeah, honestly, you really don't need to snipe when you can just shoot in a straight line and effectively do the same thing.
I think some of them might be. No. Nope. Jollar is just super effective against everything. So.
Interesting that Matoro having a sniper rifle is something that carried over.
Yeah, I don't know particularly why, but oh, Frost Beetle.
Oh, here's the Frost Beetle. That's how you know the level's about to
No,
end.
well, this isn't the end of the level. There's like a little, like those platforms in the distance that I was shooting at. Like we're gonna go on those.
And then end the level.
Yeah. Well.
I kind of wonder if the console game was made first,
Oh.
and then everyone else took notes from that.
I want to say probably it was like in parallel that these games were developed, because like I think it took. I maybe I shouldn't like misquote information. If I'm wrong about it, I'll edit it in. But like I think it was like a 12-month development cycle, or maybe it was 10 months. I don't know. I gotta like.
Oh, that's not a lot of time.
No, I mean, you think about it, like, this game being developed in 2005 comes out in 2006. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I guess it has to, because I assume they didn't really plan more than a year ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just getting into that mode where they were, thinking multiple years in advance before with Bionicle. Like 2000, the Ignition trilogies, when they sort of were, they meaning Lego, was planning a little bit more, at least from a story perspective, as to the overarching events that were going to happen.
I wonder actually if any of the other years, like 2007, 2008, if those had potential games, like, because we know there was a Metro Nui game, and there was some Game Boy Advance game that was never released as well. So I wonder, like, because obviously with Bionicle, being such a big franchise, they probably did, like, have pitches for later years, right? But maybe we just don't know about them because they're confidential. I would like to, that would be interesting to see. But yeah, here's the end level.
I'm kind of curious, like, whether or not they ever had plans for a 2006 movie, or if that was just
Oh yeah, they did.
after Web.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
the 2006 movie, yeah, has been talked about a bit more recently, where, like, essentially, I guess it was going to take place, or it was chopped around, basically, a lot, like, and the thing is, the movie studios just didn't really understand what Bionicle was, and so they just didn't go with it because of that. Like, it would have been sort of much different, like, kind of, I think it was more like, I don't know, some sort of, like, knights, like, or enemies, sort of, like, more medieval, like, I think, some like, there's a lot
So
of concepts.
wouldn't have been adapting the 2006 story?
No, I think there was, I'd have to look into it again, but, like, yeah, it was something to where the visions that people gave, like, for the pitches, like, a lot of companies wanted to make a Bionicle movie then, but they just couldn't find the right partners for it.
Yeah, I remember something, maybe I'm misremembering, and maybe this is for a different time period, but I'm remembering a quote about something about, like, people pitching, like, grand epic battles.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
Bionicles, and that's what they were thinking for their theatrical, and that's just like, oh, hello. And like it was just like, no, that's not.
I like
Bionicle.
how there is a spinning head animation though, like you sort of.
Yeah, this is goofy.
I wish they had a little more of that in this game, because it is sort of straightforward. There isn't as much silly. Oh, okay. There isn't.
Hey, Woosh, you kind of fell.
I know. There isn't as much, like,
Just letting you know.
like, of the sillier elements of Bionicle Heroes in this. So, like the console version at least. So it would have been interesting to see a bit more, like, sillier animations. Frost Beetle.
That's how you know you're almost to the end of the level, unless it's in the Ice Themed level where there's 2.
Yep.
Now time to see how this
Oh
game
yeah,
ends.
This is a thing I haven't shown. Like, Nupara can break these things. That's what he can do.
Cool. I like that Huki
Different than
and Nubara
Huki's
have-
thing. Yeah, Huki and Nubara have the exact same power.
Basically, yeah.
Further cementing that the difference between rock and earth is nothing.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you think about fire and lava, like, with Holly and what's it? Holly and Joller, their abilities are kind of similar as well. In that regard, it's just different tints, like a blue tint or a red tint. So the only one that has like a unique kind of power, the unique powers are Matoro and Kongu, with its sniper mode and anti-gravity. I don't know, like, yeah, because the other two are just kind of the same.
Reskins.
Yeah.
You know, by all accounts, I feel like lava is something that I feel like a toe of fire should absolutely not be, like, immune to or
True.
associated with, even, in my humble opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just gonna shoot from a distance.
Legend of Korra got it right. Lava's an earth thing.
yeah, no, it absolutely is, because lava is just, you know, superheated rock. But it also then starts to get complicated, because, like, what is fire? Fire is a chemical reaction, it's not an actual thing.
final
oh boy,
showdown.
The final showdown. Makuta
Finally,
is what it
will
says.
all be revealed? Let's find out. So, that's Makuta. This
oh,
shadow, that's Makuta.
Why?
Very
Yeah.
good, Slime.
Oh man,
Very-
it's Mazok.
So, the main thing about this is that you're just beating the Paraka in a showdown. That's the final, this is the final level. So,
Wait, but
then you
hold on a
fight-
second. Isn't this? Doesn't that just put you into like a soft lock, because Radak can't be defeated the same way twice?
you got me there.
Yeah, you're out of luck here, kid.
Yeah, I think there's really...
I just noticed that Fezak's got the wrong feet.
Yeah, so I think you basically, like, fight a bunch of them at the same time, so there's Thok up there. Oh, yeah? He's got the wrong feet? Oh, he does, yeah, he's out of the claws, yeah.
I suspect they all have the webbed feet then.
Maybe.
Probably just the same generic model.
Okay.
Interesting, given that they paid such close attention to detail with the other.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
I almost wonder if they were working with more prototype versions of the Toa and the Nitro. That might be.
Yeah, I could look into the prototypes. There's, like, a huge folder of prototype models. Maybe in a future Modcast episode, we'll look at Bionicle prototypes. I really do.
I want to know the prototype for the Makuta Y figure.
Yeah. You know, like, everyone complains about the G2 Makuta, but, like, where was this Makuta?
I know. I also do love that seemingly inexplicably it is just in the shape of a letter Y for no apparent reason that I can.
I mean,
see.
that's how you spell Makuta, right? With a Y? Yakuda. Yakuza or something. Yeah, basically, like,
Hero
come on,
mode.
hero mode. Let's go. Like, and the thing is, like, of course, I can show off the keep, you know, if I keep it going with the gears.
Yeah.
If I actually, like, you know, shoot them right. Havoc will drop some. Like,
There you go.
beyond. There it is.
Phase
Yeah.
that to you a little bit there.
Oh, now we're back to the regular music. Yeah. So whenever you beat a Paraka, you get the red gears. But I think the last two.
That seems about right.
So, what do you guys think about this epic finale? Like,
Yeah, you know, it sure is, you know, multiple hit scan enemies shooting
I
at
love
you,
it.
dying, and then immediately respawning.
Yeah.
It really is that.
They really, like, yeah, I wonder if they just didn't have the Vizon, like, model.
Yeah, he does, Radak doesn't have the claw feet either.
Yeah. He's not dead? Oh, now he's dead. Okay.
We've broken canon.
Radak, in fact, can be defeated.
Radak is defeatable.
Use hero mode, watch.
Yeah.
Well, surely you're going to have to fight the Y after this, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna fight Makuta.
Here we go.
Okay, so here's the end cutscene. The Toa Chris Daughtry busts in. He electrocutes Hakad.
Okay.
Finishes.
And Radak.
Vizok
Vizok.
crushes Thok. Annihilates Epic. Burns Radak?
Radak just goes.
Radak begs for mercy, but is given none.
Does something to Zaktan. Makuta stares ominously,
Oh.
but he gets sucked in.
Gets sucked into a something.
Now Chris Daughtry can finally set the Toa free. Or give them back their masks, I guess. Even though they already had them in the cutscenes. They weren't like... So, yeah.
They are walking towards us.
Looking out in the distance.
You know, it is really funny that if you just replaced the Toa and Naika being trapped with the Toa Nuva, that would genuinely be 2006 storyline.
Yeah, that's right.
Bionicle Heroes.
Yes. Yep.
Credits.
Made by Maze Entertainment.
Dan-
There they are.
Ellen Boss. David Mann. I was looking back and forth on the two screens, not realizing, oh right, it's a DS scrolling up.
It is, yeah. Yeah, there are quite a few names. So yeah, I
Like
mean,
James Prettyman.
I think we can actually get out of the credits. Now that we finished the game, I wanted to just show off a couple of extras. So some are just straightforward, like unlimited ammo, invincibility, one-hit defeat. So like, you know, you can beat enemies in one hit. You're invincible, unlimited ammo. Disco Craze. Okay, and some of them you have to have on, like you can't have some on at the same time. So it's like Disco Craze and then Crazy Colors. Enemies all in the rainbow. So let's have Disco Craze. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Let's go. Let's party.
Hello.
Party in Voyanui. Yeah. So, you know,
Welcome to the party.
I
Oh, hello.
apologize to anyone that's photosensitive, you know. If this gives you a seizure, probably should have put some. I'll edit it in post, okay? I'll put a little warning. But yeah, like yeah. We're in a
Yeah.
rave, basically.
Yeah, you know, this is in fact a game mechanic.
It's a fun extra. Yeah, so there are a couple of different like color options. So there's this crazy colors. Okay, so I think yeah, there it is. So the enemies
yeah.
have crazy colors. They're pretty aesthetic actually.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wait, wait,
except
what
for
is
that
this?
That one didn't. That one didn't
Existence
get
of normal Nui-Rama. Silhouettes, yeah. So I think that essentially like envelops each level in kind of its elemental color. Although maybe this is not gonna look too great. Or actually, the Daughtry looks a bit different. Yeah, I don't think it shows
Yeah.
up very well on this map. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Go green.
This is
Oh
aesthetic.
yeah.
I like this. Welcome to the Matrix. It's actually that this not gonna lie, looking at this is a little hard to look at. It's a little violent.
That is
green.
because you are a coward.
Maybe
Listen,
maybe
I
this
like
should be
me
like a
some
new
green.
speedrun category. Just play the game just with this filter.
Green %.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, green %.
Like, whatever color, whatever level is.
Yeah. Yellow.
Oh, yellow.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, oh yeah,
Oh yeah. This is Doom.
This is Doom,
Doom
yeah.
right here.
will they be purple? Okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but what? This is like,
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of vibe with this.
huh?
This is
Not what I was expecting.
This is an aesthetic.
at all, but like, okay, take it.
Vomit color. It's gotta be blue. There's no way it's not blue. Yeah, it's blue. It is funny because for some of these, it almost kind of makes them a little bit more atmospheric.
Makuta mode. Makuta strengthens your enemies. Okay, so whatever, that just, makes the enemies tougher. Okay, so human voice plays the same sounds but different. Friendly farm. So farm animals fire from your Zamor Sphere launcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baraka party,
okay.
balloons and confetti make a party out of defeated enemies. And of course, big head mode. And then, unfortunately, we can't have tiny enemies with big heads. Like these turn off. So I'll show off all of these at once. Zamor launcher. Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's like. Okay. Oh, confetti. I have to shoot it. Okay, so
Oh, you have to shoot it.
confetti %. Finally, an animal like. Oh, and big.
Aww.
Yes. Amazing.
Big head
Look
Balrog.
at
They're
him.
great. I don't want to even do anything with this, guys.
I don't. You gotta hurt him, but I don't want you to.
Like I love how these.
What is
So there's a chicken, a sheep, a pig.
pig?
And a pig. Okay, you gotta keep going. I need to see more big head enemies.
Okay. Vizorak.
Boo.
Oh come on, Vizorak.
I guess they couldn't do anything with them, but it's still a shame.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay. This is peak performance.
That's bad.
This is amazing. Okay. Yeah, here they are. So, essentially, what you can do with Nuparu, press L, and you break it, and then you can actually construct it back.
Build them up.
Yeah.
Break them down.
Now it should. Oh, Vaki. Big head Vaki.
Big head Vaki.
Yeah, and you see the Zamor Sphere actually shot the Vaki, and they're shooting Avak now.
Really want the center of the Y to just be bigger than it should be.
Oh no, I don't think they had. Oh yeah. Vizak? Yeah, Vizak doesn't have a big head.
Zaysak, you're lame.
Come on, Vizak. Get pelted with farm animals. But Thok though.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
It does sound like a person making that sound effect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That was the guy going.
Yeah. So yeah, I think. Oh,
That's the human noises. Oh, Radak has a big
and
head.
then where's Hakan? Hakan has a big head.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Tiny
How
Borak.
tiny is tiny? Oh, it's adorable!
Oh my God.
It's like accurate to set size.
Huh.
If you were a person.
That's
playing
true, that's
this
true.
game.
What's the Nui Rama look like? Oh yeah.
Yes, that is the correct size of them.
Yeah.
And I should know.
They are small. Tiny Vaki.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, there they are.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think genuinely speaking, like if
Oh, what?
if you're
Frost
oh
beetle.
no, the frost beetle is not small.
Begun. I hope Everyone enjoyed this full Let's Play of Bionicle Heroes DS. Had quite a lot of fun playing it again. Any closing thoughts, guys, about this game?
Mayonnaise is bad. Oh, about this game.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good game.
I think that if you thought to yourself, man, I really like first-person shooters, and I really like Bionicle, I think this is the game to check out for you. Links will be in the description for how to play it, and to have it look real nice.
Been good playing, and see y'all later.
Farewell.
My last statement ever to be made is